ngaro na la wato kuma ta bak asira linga da fo ko nyu founding kila
hey elafta maboro la bank kalpo efa igiso SO na yuna jang ibadin kiyato kati yuna wallet ibe falindiro ke kan sandiri nyat
ni la yuna wallet to si muna fanno tulo yabo mano kandrin anin fen jama isi sanno la yuna wallet to kono yalla kamo soto ila wallet to kono
alkana la konda no tay ka yuna wallet anatan tolle bukan na balwo fanondi abe sono yaren ko bulu podo ne la mobile scan yo science ise maboro ke wato men diate
ko be sandro ke fangole ba ko ba ke kan dimbalem isi ñun lonko e sandro ke yona enterprise wato wati ani la yona wallet to la e be lan kam soto kay la wallet to kono
alina nga kafun nanyi yuna dimbayal kan kasandiro ke yuna bitikoto alina kata nyin ko kentat na sulo fon lolu si sandiro kije se maboro fanan keje
moro jun diana nyum ko di mabal ni kadeda
Hello and welcome to this edition of our show. It's going to be interesting because I have a Brufut show here, just like Ceedy said before we started. Two people from Brufut, obviously, but from different camps. Ceesay is the administrative secretary of the United, oh my God, National People's Party, NPP. I don't want to be sent to court for defamation, so the National People's Party. And of course, Lamin Manneh is the Deputy External Affairs Secretary for the United Democratic Party. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will be doing this show in the first part in English, but obviously we'll be talking in the local language. I think first what we do is what is trending, and what is trending today is that the Voice newspaper proprietor and the reporter that wrote a story on the President Barrow's succession plan have just been invited for questioning. This story happened, I think, 2 days ago. The newspaper, Voice newspaper, wrote a story saying the president has succession plans. He is probably not running for the 2026 presidential election, according to their sources at the NPP. But also in the story, they did reach out to the NPP spokesperson and the deputy spokesperson. I think that was to give the story its balance, because if you have a source who tells you this and you said, okay, I'm just going to verify, they made sure they had the NPP story side captured by the deputy spokesperson and the spokesperson, and they also reacted to say it was false. So the story came out, it was reproduced by Kerr Fatou, also Standard newspaper, and when it came out, I reached out to you, Ceedy, and to just get your clarification. We did that story on web story, and also we did a video story. And the Standard newspaper also reported, or they also had you on. But the Voice did not end there. The following day, they also bring the clarification from the NPP camp, just to give it a fair, publicity. But yesterday, in the afternoon, I got a letter from the Voice proprietor that the president has sent them a letter through his attorney, his legal representative, Ida Drame, to say they want the Voice newspaper to retract their story, apologize publicly to the president if within the 24 hours. If not, they will institute legal actions against the Voice newspaper. And the first thing I said, no, don't do it, because why would you do that? This story is balanced. You had a source, but you also reached out to the NPP officials. You did not end up with just one person. You reached out to two people. That is what balanced reporting is. Now, when the NPP said they did not, that was false, you also came back the following day and put it out. You have given them their say. But apart from that, other media houses have given them even more publicity about this. Now, I don't think you should apologize. I don't think you should retract, because at the end of the day, people have sources and we never disclose our sources. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. And I think so many people also said that to him. He did not. Now, just coming into this show, I spoke to Sheriff. He was invited for questioning by the police. And I'm thinking, number one, the police, what is their business in this? Because if the president as a citizen has all legal rights, even though I don't agree with the letter, but if the president wants to institute a legal case against somebody, he is within his rights. He can do that. He's been defamed. He asked this person to retract or we'll take you to court. Now, continue with the court proceedings. What has the police got to do with this? This is no criminal offense. Now, I'm going to stay here first and let you guys have your opinion. The reason why I'm saying this, I'm a media professional person, and I am condemning this in the first, it's a threat to our democracy for the president to go against any media person for having interest in the president's political life, his structure, whatever he's doing. If he was a private citizen, it would not have interested anybody to know whether he wants to run or not. That is the president of the republic, and we are going to have concerns about this. So having to say we're going to institute a legal case against you, number one, I feel that is wrong. But I think it's even way worrying for the police to inject themselves in this. This might be a civil case, because this will be a civil case, not might. It's not a criminal matter, it's a civil case. If the president decides to take this to court, it's a civil case, which is okay. The president, as a civil human being, feels somebody wrongs them, can take them to court. We will have a say on that. But I don't understand why the police see the need to invite this gentleman, the reporter and the proprietor of Voice newspaper, to the police premises. As we start this show, they are at the police right now. First, I want to say I am condemning this, in the strongest term, because I feel like, President Barrow, we have all said, is the most, people say he's the most tolerant person. I saw a post on Watson Gambia just before I came saying, oh, the president has been hailed for being the most African president who has not jailed any journalist or activist. I'm like, no, that is not true. The president tried to jail people. The government tried to jail activists, Mahdi Jobati and others. They tried to take other people, Borak and others. Journalists have been invited several times. It was not successful, sometimes either through the courts or sometimes. But to say they have not tried, that is not accurate. People have gone through stuff like that. So I think if we say this person, the president is one of the most tolerant, he's more tolerant than Yahya Jammeh, I must give that to him. That I can say.
That is not a reference.
That is not the yardstick we're using today.
Yeah, it's not a reference.
Yeah, it's not a yardstick for us. We want President Barrow to do better, and he's been doing that. But things like this make us all worry. For me, I said this, I kept saying this to my friend on a conversation. I think, we are going to go to jail. We are going to go to court, because we will continue doing our job. We will continue writing about the president. We will continue holding him accountable, because he is our president. We want him to do better for us. Now, if we are going to be doing that and they're going to take us to court, and this is why I kept, when that bill came, I'm so happy that that minister was sacked, the digital minister, that cybersecurity bill, false news, it was all about this, to jail people unnecessarily. And I think it is wrong. I condemn it, and I hope people come out and condemn this. I hope the president understands that we have nothing against him. Like, we want him to do well for our country. That's why we keep holding him accountable. But at the end of the day, we all enjoy this banter to President it doesn't mean we are against him or the government. We just want the best for this country. So, Seedy, what is your reaction to this? Because this is outrageous. It's ridiculous.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much, Fatou, for availing me this opportunity to sit with my cousin. Sorry, you earlier introduced Lamin Manneh as two people from Brufut. We are not just from Brufut, but we are cousins.
Oh, great, nice.
So that's the beauty of the Gambia. No worries, that's right. Yes, you made your opinion. And with all fairness, I have nothing against you having your opinion. Understanding my very self, I have a media background, and of course I support media freedom because I continue to practice media. Actually, we must take stock what happened.
What happened?
And when we take stock, we begin to understand what is actually happening right now. We have a newspaper that came out and made a statement. Though, as you have said, they've reached out to the office of the spokesperson of the National People's Party to get their side of the story. I didn't see much that was said by them, but the media house still continued to go ahead with the story. The following day, I spoke to them in person and invited them to my office, and I made a reaction. And other media outlets, other media houses do a similar thing. But Fatou, let's look at the rejoinder of the story, where Voice newspaper featured me. The last paragraph of that statement, of that story, continued to say Mohamed Jah, in fact, is traveling to New York, to the United Nations General Assembly, to be with the president. If you understand that, means whatever we said, they are still saying that is not true.
I'll let you
finish. There was nothing that was said by the Voice newspaper to say what CDCC have said, stands that the story is false. But even though they brought that story up, they continue to mislead and misinform the people of this country, and more particularly
by saying that he was traveling to New York. By saying that he was traveling to New York.
Yes, to go and meet the president.
How is that misinforming? How is that misinforming?
They are putting doubts, continue putting doubts in the minds of the Gambian people. They are saying any citizen of this country can travel to the United States. We have no problem with that. Absolutely. But to say that he is traveling to the United States, to New York, to the General Assembly, where the president is, and to associate and to continue associating with the president. So where do you stand?
Well, he's traveled with the president to so many different destinations to start with.
No,
but
Mr. Manneh, let's understand.
Let him finish.
The president has already left for the United Nations. He's already there. The CEO of Q Group is in this country. Choose to do his business. Until yesterday, he's still here. Has not gone to the United States. The president is flying back. And the Voice newspaper continue to make that statement that the Q Group CEO is going to the United States to meet the president. I think that is a bad test for a press, where we are making a reaction to say what you have reported is false. But you continue to misinform the Gambian people that no, all what MPP is saying is false.
No.
Because Mohamed Jah is traveling to the United States, and because he has to go and continue to have those dealings, with President Barrow.
Seedy, he's not there. The story did not say, the story is not, that is your own interpretation.
No.
That is your interpretation.
Can you bring this story?
That is your interpretation.
Yes.
That is your interpretation of what they said.
That is exactly what they said.
They availed you the opportunity to tell them what exactly happened.
Yes.
Just like Kerr Fatou did and Standard newspaper did.
Yes.
You clarified that that is not true, it's false, this is not true.
Yes.
Now they went ahead to say they stood by their story, what they reported. Now, you can say it's false, but if they believe that they have credible information to say, we believe this, and they keep saying, they want to back it up to say, in fact, Mohamed Jah will be traveling to the United Nations to join the president and the delegation. If they say that, that has nothing to say that what you have said is false. They are only saying that they still believe that Mohamed Jah is going to continue this.
No, they're basically saying what we said is false.
I don't think,
no, it's false.
No, I don't think that.
No, that's what they're saying.
No, I don't think so.
That's your opinion.
Okay, that's your opinion.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
Okay.
And clearly, after our statement, to say what the Voice of reported was false, they continue to misinform the people, and we stand by that. And for President Barrow to take a legal action, to ask his attorney to write to the Voice newspaper, and I think that is within his rights.
No, he's not.
No, of course it's within his rights.
All right,
Look,
all right, I'll come back.
I have serious problems with this. If these guys seem to have touched a raw nerve here. They touched a raw nerve.
NPP because of that time.
Because the thing is, why is the president so sensitive about this? The journalist saying somebody is being groomed to take over from him, so what? If it's not true, say it's not true. Do you need to take him to court for that? Really? He's been traveling with the president to all over the place. He's been with him to Saudi Arabia. He's been with him to China. He's been to so many different places. If he's going to New York...
Like other business people.
Let me finish. If they say he's going to New York and he's not even going to New York, he's here, it's simple to say, no, that's not true. Mohamed Jah is here, he's not going to New York. You don't need to take anybody to court for that. For me, this marks of intimidation of the press. And this is something that we've been seeing coming for a long time. And we've got to get out of this, because this is where we keep backsliding now. Because we were, for a long time, moving away from the Jammeh era tactics. If we start again taking journalists to court because they wrote a story that's not true, I mean, the president should be able to rise above that. This is just a story written by a newspaper. You don't agree with it, just say it's not true, it's false. And we leave it at that, we move on. You don't need to take him to court for that. If you take him to court, it's your right. You don't need to, but if you take him to court, this is a civil matter.
Yeah.
Why do you have to bring in the criminal side? What did they do criminal?
I don't know.
What did they do criminal? You want to take him to court for libel? Take him to court for libel. And let you fight it out in court. But as you said, why does the police have to inject themselves into this? This is a civil matter.
I think it's quite premature, Mr. Manneh, as we speak now, to talk about the police, because I mean, you just informed us that they've been informed, they've been invited at the police station regarding what?
It's common sense that the police.
But if the story has not come out,
and the reporter that wrote the same story, the police invited both of them.
Both of them.
What would you think they invited?
If the story had not come out, would they have been invited to the police?
What have they been
Probably
invited
not.
for?
What do you need to understand? When police invite somebody to a police station for questioning, like you said earlier, we must allow them to do their investigation.
Of course, of course. So, but we are free to criticize as well.
For us to sit here now and say the police should not invite them, or why should they go to the police, or why should the police get involved, I think that is quite premature right now.
Well, we just have to say,
will hear about the outcome. We will hear about the outcome, but it's most probably going to be linked to this. And that's what we're saying. If it is linked to this, if it's not fair,
until
it's not very
I
good.
see what happens.
If it's not good, if it is not very good.
If that is the case, if the police are questioning about this, do you think it's right for the police to do that?
I don't know the substance that the police are looking for in this case.
No, I don't think we should start looking for the substance
this is
here.
A civil matter.
No. I think
yes, you may claim it is a civil matter, but they are invited, so let's allow them to do their investigation.
No, I think what we should say is
until such a time
should watch out and not give this impression of being intimidating to the press.
Mr.
If it
Manneh,
is not, great, but there is marks of that. That is what is here.
Mr. Manneh, you lived in a Gambia that is free, no fear, no intimidation.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if I can say that right now.
Why not?
Because I am going to continue to speak up.
You see,
I am going to quote sources.
I am
going to continue quoting
that
sources.
Is our constitutional
if the president is going to take us to court for that,
but how many stories have been run by Kerr Fatou and all other media houses quoting sources?
It's going to start somewhere. It just started.
No.
With the voice.
Come on. What we have seen is a newspaper acting irresponsibly.
No,
and I would say that.
I would disagree with that.
Okay, that's your opinion.
I would disagree
me,
that it's not true, Uncle
to
Ceesay,
me,
because I don't think it's irresponsible. Number one, the principles of the media in journalism, they have biased reporting. They quoted their source. They also made sure they reached out to NPP officials, in fact, 2, and quoted what they said. Now, that is fair and balanced reporting. You cannot say that is irresponsible.
I agree with you on the lead story on the first day.
Yeah.
So when we made a reaction and bringing our reaction, and also for them to continue to misinform people, that's what I'm saying.
So this is you call it misinformed, but you don't know where they're getting this. And what they are saying.
But it's open truth now that
Ceesay,
whatever they are saying was false, because the person that they are claiming was
Ceesay.
living in this country still remains in this country.
But then, okay, now we are diverting from this, the fact that it's Mohammed Jah is in the successful plan. That is different from now you're saying you don't have a problem with that story, but you have a problem with the second one.
No, listen to me. The issue here is this is not about Mohammed Jah. This is not about an individual, Mohammed Jah. The Voice newspaper wrote about Mohammed Jah. Fine. And we made our position clear. Yeah. But the president felt that what the Voice did was actually wrong. They are defamation. And he has all his rights, within all his rights, to make legal case against
My question is, in the initial report, what exactly is defaming the president? Exactly.
Everything that they wrote, Fatou, was defaming the president. You saw what our attorney wrote. You can bring the letter of the attorney, and the attorney have...
And I want to come to that.
Yes.
They said that these are mere speculations, and it's embarrassing to the president. President Barrow last week said he is going on a rematch with Ousainou Darboe. Yes. He speculated because he doesn't know if Ousainou Darboe is UDP candidate. What is that defamation?
I believe Ousainou Darboe is UDP candidate. I believe Ousainou Darboe is UDP candidate. Yes, Ousainou Darboe has
exactly. That is speculation.
No, it's not speculation.
You believe.
It's not speculation. I can tell you.
Let me go. That is just one.
No, you can take it to the bank. Take this down. No. Take it to the bank. 2026, Ousainou Darboe is the candidate for UDP. Take it to the bank.
But that is a speculation.
It's not a speculation.
Let me bring you a second one. Let me bring you a speculation. That's your principle.
It's not a speculation.
It
is not a speculation.
The gentleman in the Voice can also tell you Mohammed Jah is going to be the candidate. Take it to the bank.
It's my
that's speculation too.
That's speculation too.
How do you Mohammed Jah is not a card holder of the National People's Party. He's not a member of the National People's Party.
Not a UDP, you are NPP card holder.
Yeah.
Let me come to the second one that
let's go back to where you said.
Hold on a second.
No, Mr. Manneh. Let's come back to this one. You said the president said 2 weeks ago he was going for a rematch. Yeah. And now the Voice is saying, in fact, no, the president is looking for a successor. Yeah. Yes. Right? Yeah. If the President Barrow came out and said to his supporters and sympathizers and members of the National People's Party, I am going 2026, and in turn, somebody is writing something different, will I believe President Barrow? They are putting doubts in me, and President Barrow is not one I doubt. I believe in him wholeheartedly.
But Ousainou Darboe sat on my show here, and I asked him, are you going to run? He said he doesn't know until during Congress. Yeah. If President Barrow comes to us and tell us he's going on a rematch with Ousainou Darboe, he is speculating. He doesn't have the facts.
Fatou, I don't come to Kerr Fatou to talk about individuals and talk about that. Let's discuss. But I know, Ousainou Darboe, with all respect to Ousainou Darboe, let me help you here. With all respect to Ousainou Darboe, with all respect to Ousainou Darboe, he came here and said he doesn't know. But subsequently, Ousainou have manifested and shown interest to run 2026.
So what?
I'm not against that. That's why we want a rematch.
I'm only telling you the variation here.
If you say he has manifested interest, so what? That doesn't mean that he's going to be selected. It's still a speculation on your part. So this other gentleman can say, my speculation is that there will be Mohammed Jah. And you'll have to wait till 2026. No, let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
You'll say, you wait till 2026 to see if I'm wrong, if it's speculation or not. But the thing is, you're telling me that will make us doubt President Barrow. But President Barrow has done so many things that has made us doubt him. This is the man who said he was going to go for 3 years.
That's your opinion.
And he went for 5 years. This is the man who said he was Look, President Barrow gave us so many promises.
Can I help you,
no,
Mr.
I don't
Manneh?
need your help.
No, I need to help you. I need to help you because I think you have forgotten. You have forgotten.
But you don't make
You have forgotten. You have forgotten. You know why you have forgotten? Your very leader today, Ousainou Darboe, was the one who stood in front of the wall to defend President Barrow for 5 years.
Yes,
that's true.
Yes.
So you cannot come here and look at my face and tell me President Barrow ate his words. No, Ousainou Darboe ate his words.
Because Ousainou might have made that mistake and he
Oh, you call it mistake?
Yes, he did. But Barrow made a commitment. He made a commitment to the coalition. If he wanted to honor his word, he could have. But he reneged on it.
I'm glad that you said he made a mistake. I'm glad you said he made a mistake.
And I said that
so let's move on. Let's move on.
But not only, no, excuse me, Fatou. Not only he reneged on that, but he had Gambians arrested, jailed for reneging on that promise. He made several promises here in this country that he reneged on. So why would he not renege on this other one too? So this gentleman saying this is his opinion from his source. That does not warrant him being taken to court. This is just a journalist like anybody else who is commenting on something. So we have to get to a point where we put those things behind us. What I think the whole problem is this man touched on a raw nerve.
Mr. Manneh, NPP. When you talk about journalists taken to court, as you know, you are living in a bubble. If you live in this world,
living in a bubble.
I mean, that's basically you are
something like this.
No, you are telling me taking journalists to court.
Something as
alien. If journalists do not act within the dictates of their ethics,
you work for freedom. You work for freedom, and you had said things which could have at the time.
You know, one thing I had so much respect for you, and I got to know you even because I knew that you are my uncle. It's because of the work you have done in defending human rights.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I still stand by that. I still stand by that.
You work for freedom and you say things which have been found outrageous.
But let me come, Seedy. Let me come to this particular issue. Why is it a problem for us to talk about leaders having succession plans? For example, it's okay, you know, for me, I remember when I saw this, I'm thinking UDP should have taken me to court when I had Yankuba Dabo here. Because ngamin for Ousainou Darboe succession plan to jang. Kabringa Yankuba Soja 2 weeks ago. I went back and I watched it. I'm like, did I say all of these things? You know? But that's how I felt. I felt, even though I'm not a member of the United Democratic, they should start thinking about that. This is a conversation citizens are going to have about UDP and NPP.
Absolutely.
Why is it so bad that when we talk about your succession plan, let me tell you, what I know from NPP, the plan is, Mohamed Jah is one of them, Demba Sabali is one of them, Ceesay Jah is one of them, and who else? There's somebody Malafu for. Let me just keep that name. These are people that all come in for court. And this is okay to have these conversations.
Let me help you.
What is wrong with us having this? President Barrow at one point will leave, and you guys will have other candidates.
Let me help you.
Why is it wrong to have these conversations?
I want to say this.
I
want to make this statement. As young as I am, as old as I am, I've seen Sadauda, I've seen Jammeh, and I've seen Adama Barrow. I've never had where Sadauda said, if I leave this position, I want a PPP person to take it. Until when he got to Mansakonko said, I want to go. I've never had Yaya Jammeh do the same thing. President Barrow has been had on numerous occasions that I would like to hand over the baton to an NPP.
Yes.
So he is aware that he is not going to be there forever, and he also believes that for the first time in history that somebody in NPP will succeed him to break another record, because he has break a record of defeating a dictator that no one thought an election can get him out of this position.
Fair enough, true.
Yeah. So another record that President Barrow is going to break is somebody from NPP will succeed.
Is it going to be Mohamed Jah?
It's not for me. I don't.
Is it going to be Ceesay Jah?
For me, I don't see Mohamed Jah, because
is it going to be my brother that I cannot name?
Our formula is simple. You have to be a card holder of the National People's Party.
This is touching a nerve, Mohamed Jah.
It's not about Mohamed Jah.
I mean, I'll be worried if I'm Mohammed Jai. If I'm your brother, I'm your friend, and more can tell on Droika while the I'll be worried.
For public disclosure.
Maybe let me say Mohammed Jallo so nga disclose nyami rek pak paniko.
No, it's not more. Listen, let me help you. For public disclosure, I have a very good relationship with Mohammed. I think the whole Gambia.
We all know that, yeah.
Yes, not only that I work for them, you know, I was offering them my service.
Yeah.
But even before that, he said, you know, I'm part of that family.
Yeah.
You know, we are good buddies. We are good friends.
Yeah.
You know, we dine and wine together.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's not likewise. I dine and wine with so many people in UDP and other political. This is small Gambia.
Yeah.
The gentleman sitting before me is my cousin.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So we should not get hung up with this Mohammed Jai thing, or let's roll it. It's a newspaper. It's a newspaper that did not report.
If you're not going to get hung on that,
they have to
then you better drop this issue of taking this gentleman to court, because it's just said that it's so simple, so trivial. You see, I think you guys have to get to a point where you've got to be able to accept criticism of Barrow and do it yourself. I just said here Ousainou made a mistake.
Manneh.
No, let me finish. I just said here Ousainou made a mistake, because from my point of view, when Ousainou came out of prison, he was not privy to the agreements that were made with the coalition partners. And he came and said, no, if anybody, and he was reacting from the point of view of a constitutional lawyer. And what we said is, yes, as a constitutional lawyer, that is the law. But what the coalition decided was something different. And when people criticized him for that, he accepted. So there is nothing sacred about Ousainou. We can criticize him, we can disagree with him, and he's a very hugely democratic guy in the country. Barrow should be able to take criticism like this, which is so trivial.
Every day.
So why this trivial issue is being blown out of proportion?
Mr. Manneh, I don't want to sit here.
Why do you want to blow this out of proportion?
Listen, let me just. I don't want to sit here and try quantifying what Ousainou said, what Ousainou have done wrong. You know, for me, that is not my problem.
But that's the thing.
No. Because we have seen where Ousainou have called out journalists. You have seen that. No, listen to me. We have seen that. We have seen that. We have seen a lot of things that is done.
The journalists are not a special breed. They can be called out. But what is wrong?
But he went too far. I don't want to get into this nitty-gritties of Ousainou. No, Mr. Manneh, listen to me. I don't want to get into this nitty-gritties of what Ousainou did right, what Ousainou. You know, that for me, it's not my issue. No, Gambia, for me, Gambia is what
this case is what we're saying.
If you want to bring Ousainou as a debate, we'll debate about Ousainou. But that's not an issue for me. We should put that aside.
All right, let me come here. For me, let me come here. I think for me, what Mr. Manneh said, I keep saying to Ousainou and every other person, Ousainou is one of those people who got us here. For example, when he endorsed Barrow to go for 3 years, we all said, why would you say that? 5 years. And we all called him out for that. And I am one of those people who continue to call him out for that. Yeah. Also, when he called out a journalist, we called him out. Now, if we are calling Barrow out today for taking this journalist to court, we are within our rights because we feel like that is a threat to our press freedom. And I think these are things
not just the
we
press
will have
freedom,
these
but
conversations.
individual
Because the reason
freedoms.
why we're talking about Barrow and Ousainou, these are the most high-profile politicians in our country. Whatever they do matters so much. They have a lot of following. And I think for me, the police, I've said this on my show, Ceedy, a lot of times. And, sometimes I get emotional about this because my staff have gone through this. Bora, we all know what happened to Bora. Bora was picked up twice, just making a comment about the president, and he was thrown out. He was kept beyond the 42 hours, 72 hours, and he went to court and win the case. And people have said so much things against us. Even yesterday when I interviewed you 2 days ago about this Barrow issue, and we talked about how President took Maimouna Baldé, the women mobilizer. We went back and forth. They don't know our relationship, but we went back and forth on that interview. I woke up last night, I went to the YouTube. Nganyada hainam pam. Fatou Touré Maimouna la sama tole fa officiate. Ye insult long ya lonne. Maimouna Baldé la sama tole fa officiate. Ikante ne mina mamre ka moneng. Ikaw mone wala sign. But for me, I do understand that I'm a public figure.
Exactly.
And my job comes with this. I criticize people. Who am I for people not to criticize me? One time I remember Sally and Bora had a show and they criticized somebody, I'm like, You guys had a platform. You had thousands of people. You were talking about this issue. For one person to write a show about you, you're getting, like, no. We don't have that liberty. We're in the public arena, and the president is the president of the entire country. We are going to defame him in the process of doing our job. We are going to hold him accountable, because we will not do it defaming intentionally, but sometimes we can do it not knowingly. But the president to take us to court, no,
but Fatou, what you need to understand here.
Yeah.
Your opinion about President Barrow asking his attorney to write to the Voice newspaper and the police to do their questioning, you are within all your rights to do that.
Yeah.
Mr. Manneh too is within all his rights to do that. I'm also entitled to have a different view of what you guys believe.
True.
But I also want to tell you, President Barrow, Mr. Manneh have seen from PPP to date, President Barrow so far, all the three leaders we have, is the most tolerant president. Let's give him that. And I was young.
I disagree with that.
I have a different opinion now.
I disagree with that.
Okay,
Jawara was by far
no.
President Barrow called me out my media house on the biggest platform, presidential platform. Exactly. What does he mean by that? He defamed my platform, my hard work, a woman who is employing over 20-something. He defamed me.
Not just
he made me look bad.
How you defame?
You know, defame.
Come on.
Seedy, let's not give examples.
You are not being defamed.
I was defamed.
Now and then.
President Barrow could have picked any media house and said, and we all talked about it.
He singled out Kerr Fatou and Manneh
before 2026 that collectively we fought. Just wait a minute. We all know before 2026 and 2016, we collectively fought for the freedom that you, Mr. Manneh, and I can sit here with Kerr Fatou and Fatou to discuss. Openly, right?
We fought for that, yes.
Collectively,
yes.
Including President Barrow.
Yes.
He put his life there,
yes.
His resources,
yes.
his time,
yes.
his family,
absolutely.
Everything. So let's give him that. And also, let's pat ourselves on the shoulder that we've done something.
Let me
explain.
that to the Gambian people.
Yeah, let's do that.
And we did that to the Gambian people collectively.
I say collectively. We cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
We do it collectively with the support of the whole world.
Yeah.
We have to accept that. We have to accept
because
that.
What
and
he
two,
says
let me finish. When you talked about PPP, as young as I am, I've seen the SIS here then. I've seen it. I've seen the days of Moja here. I've seen how people have been picked up, how people have been fired in their jobs. We don't want to go that way. We want to build a system that you and I can be proud of. And that's the system we have now.
What system has not been built? Let me give you an example.
That is built.
Let me give you an example. The court gave an order. The court gave an order that the IGP and this government was wrong in detaining Bora. The court asked them to compensate him. They refused. You know what? The court asked them to give him his phone. That is not even government property. The government up to now and the office of the IGP refused. Then we don't have that system, Seedy, you're talking about.
If you don't have the system,
if the police,
if you don't have the system,
who is the law enforcement body of the country, are not simply adhering to court rulings, how do you call that a system that we want?
The system that you are saying you don't have is your choice. If a court make an order and that order is not respected, go back to the very court to execute that order.
Really?
That's what I will do.
Okay.
Really?
And that's what I will do. And that's what everybody should do.
Okay.
So you cannot sit here.
That's what everybody should do.
Yes.
But that is part of what we're denouncing, because this should not happen. Because if this gentleman or this gentleman, because now I understand there are two, get sentenced for this, for whatever reason.
No, why are you prematurely making a vast statement on this?
You were procrastinating and forecasting.
No, come on.
So
Mr. Manneh,
unless I finish,
Mr. Manneh, you must limit your understanding of this
unless
issue.
I finish what I'm saying,
Okay,
see
go
where
ahead.
I'm going.
Go ahead.
Okay, if this gentleman gets sentenced for this, and we say, well, no, they should have gone to court again, they can go back and challenge, etc. Why won't we just be a lot more fair play than this, than take these people to court? This is the gentleman who stood here and said, Mahdi Jobate is a threat to society in front of Muslim elders.
Yes.
We're gonna handle this. And it took a lot of protest for that to stop.
That was a lot of
and every now
defamation.
and then he comes to Kerr Fatou. Every now and then he goes to Pamodu Bojang in Brikama, etc., etc. Why do you constantly have it in for the press? Why do you because you cannot.
The Mahdi one, the Mahdi one that was defamation.
Mr. Manneh,
if you said ours was
I
not,
think it's
you
been
are the guys who paid 40 million to the press to make them sing your praises. So the ones who are not singing it, you have to intimidate them. Is that it?
There is no press intimidation in this country.
Well,
Come on, bear with me.
What is it then?
How many radio stations?
What is it then?
from 2016 today.
But they just no license for us to have.
No, if you don't have a license, of course, Fatou, come on. You know, there's nowhere in this world you can be broadcasting without a license.
No. Say you license or cancel at the
No, come
for
on.
now.
It's not like they cancel it. There can be embargo on stuff. We all know embargo.
Embargo since 2021.
I was listening to the minister a few weeks
ago. But we need to understand from 2016.
I was
what
listening
Mr.
to the
Manneh is
minister
saying, there is no
2 weeks
press
ago,
freedom, and so that's not there.
telling Peter Gomez that he was going to get his license the following. He said, I'm going to take care of myself. He said that on air 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Who's that?
Ceesay.
Oh,
he told Peter Gomez on air. I was listening. He just complained about his license. He said, no, I'm going to take care of myself. You'll have it next week. Peter is still waiting for his license.
Oh.
Okay?
But that is renewal of license.
Renewal of license.
Now,
people who are applying for license fresh and people are renewing their license, it's different.
So
it's just like you have your motor
license,
Mr. Manneh. Come on,
let's
just be done to misinform people.
Somebody renewing their misinformation?
Of course. Peter Gomez has been operational for how many years?
Operational.
Yeah, so to get his license renewed, you are calling that a license that is applying for? No, it's a renewal of a license. And I think you need to be very clear. You know, when you're making this.
If I said apply for a license, then I misspoke on that.
Okay. I just want you to be clear.
Renewed,
yes.
He's been waiting.
Renewal.
Renewal. Come on.
Yeah.
You go and your motor vehicle. You want the renewal for it. It takes a couple of days or a week. So to get your radio renewed, your license renewed, it could take
anywhere in the world. I get it immediately.
Why do we continually have an embargo on radio license?
Why do we have regulatory procedures for renewal?
I remember before the presidential election, there was an embargo on radio license. We wanted a license at that time. I don't know, maybe because until I announced but let me finish. I'm just talking about that. But there was an embargo before the presidential election in 2021. It continued. When the minister came here, Ismaila, when he just got appointed, he came here, and I said, Ismaila, there has been an embargo on radio license for the past 2.5 years, 3 years. What is on about that? What is going on about it? He said, I will go back and check, right? For me to hear 2 weeks ago that they are putting a fresh embargo on issuing of radio license. For 3 years, there has been an embargo. They have just renewed the embargo. You don't think that is suppression of information? Because the more you have more radio stations in the country, that is, empowering the citizens with more information. Don't you think that is suppression?
But before you go there, I just want to come back to something you said.
Yeah.
This cybersecurity bill that you mentioned.
Yes.
And you said you're happy the minister is gone. The minister is gone, but the cybersecurity bill is still in Parliament.
Yeah, the bill is there.
Right? We've seen what is in the cybersecurity bill. We've seen what is in the vetting bill.
Yeah, vetting, yeah.
And all of these are very much against our liberties and are paving the way for a return to autocracy. We have to call a spade a spade.
That is not right. That's an outrageous statement. That is an outrageous statement.
Are you kidding me?
That is an outrageous statement.
Have you read
we are not returning to any shape or form of autocracy.
Have you read the vetting bill?
No. I've read it. You have your representative in the National Assembly.
And you think that's okay?
You have your representative in the National Assembly.
You think it's okay? You think it's okay for the vetting bill?
It is important for you and I to be protected. And there is nowhere in this world where cybersecurity has not become a threat to national security and to the security
I know,
of
but I agree with cybersecurity, but the cybersecurity
control
bill
is okay,
has
but the provisions how you control it is what makes a difference. Vetting is okay.
It is nothing that you should be wary about.
Vetting is okay.
Let me show you.
Vetting is okay. Vetting is okay.
It is
but if you tell me that the person who is going to vet can vet anybody and anybody related to that person, and who can be fired or refuse employment because the people around him have been found to be unreliable and untrustworthy, and you're going to vet my loyalty. How do you vet my loyalty? You see,
Mr. Barre, when you picked up a job international, you were vetted. You were vetted.
Yeah.
Come on, you were.
So why
you're not listening to me? I say it's not being vetted; it's the way you do the vetting.
No.
Makes a difference.
No. There is no other way. There is no other way around.
I was not
what is
vetted
actually
by
happening.
asking
You
my
were
people
vetted.
around me.
Let me give you an example of me. Let me give you an example. Let me help you. Let me give you an example. When I picked up my job in the UK as a police officer, it took 2 years to vet me because I don't have any of my family members who lived in the UK. I had to be vetted all the way to the Gambia. So, vetting is so important in anything that we do. And you went through a vetting. You cannot sit here and tell me vetting the way you go about it. You were vetted.
When I got my job at the ADB, what they did, I was employed and they wrote to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here to say, Mr. Manneh, what are the President's office? Is there a case against him? No, period. It was over.
That's what you know. That's what you know. Because they want a referee. What you knew then was they want a referee from your former employer. But that is different from being vetted. That's different from being vetted.
We are entitled to view our files, our personnel files, and they cannot hide anything from us. We see our files and we ask to see it, and everything is there, you see it. So what happened in the vetting process, you see it. Because the people vetting are not saints, and they can go and do the wrong things. That's why the people vetting should also be vetted. So that's why we have access to our files, so we can go and see what was being done. So this is the difference.
No. You are misunderstanding the real concept of vetting. No, because you have seen a file, or you have seen your file that is giving reference to your previous employers for your background.
Tell me.
When there is a proper background check, no, let me help you. When there's a proper, listen. When you need a proper background check, Mr. Manneh, you don't know anything about that because maybe you don't have any security experience.
That's where you're wrong.
No, it's not. No, every employer, every high-profile job will have to be vetted, and your vetting does not only come from your previous employer.
I am telling you,
we do a background check on you.
Accepted.
It's accepted.
How you vet.
No, how can you say how you vet?
If you tell me,
you are making an opinion here.
The vetting bill
You're making an opinion.
The vetting bill here.
The vetting bill is within all the perfection of a modern society, a democratic society, in terms of recruiting people, in terms of scrutinizing people.
You and I should come here and do a debate on that bill, paragraph by paragraph.
I'm ready. Anytime. Anytime.
Next month.
No problem.
Next month.
No problem.
We look at the vetting bill.
These are cousins.
Next month we have that.
Yes.
But that brings my question. Next question, Uncle Seedy.
Yes.
You want vetting bill. You want people to be vetted.
Very important.
But
very, very important.
This government, in the 2020 draft, proposed that appointments, ministers, the IGP and other public officials should be vetted at the National Assembly and approved. But in the 2024 draft, they removed that. When I asked government officials that came to my platform, including your National Assembly members, what they said, you are taking the powers of the president. You want vetting where it suits you, but you don't want vetting where it doesn't suit you.
But that's what I'm
where
saying.
do you stand in that?
No,
for example, where do you stand?
Is there a pathway to autocracy?
Now I'm ready.
Giominje.
Let's go. Yes.
Okay.
Where do I stand?
Where do you stand when it comes to vetting ministers to make sure they're okay for the job, vetting the IGP to make sure they're okay for the job? Where do you stand on that? By the National Assembly?
By the National Assembly, as it stands, you have seen examples where the position of an ombudsman, the positions of council, the military council, and other positions
have been vetted.
Are going to the National Assembly.
Do you want the IGP to go?
To the National Assembly?
Yeah.
I have nothing against that. And I think it is important for us to actually understand who are we giving our position to, especially public office. You know, for me, I'm not scared of vetting. Because I am an employer in this country and I vet my employees. And I do it thoroughly. I do, as Mr. Manneh is scared about, I go as far as to know who their families are. It is important.
But your government does not see that in that way.
See,
the 2020 draft, your government, I'm asking a question. No, let me tell you. Your government, the 2020 draft that was presented to the government had those provisions. Now it is gone. I will come to that. Now it just went. We'll come to that.
I don't think it's now. Okay, you may say so. But we'll bring Nawek up. No, but I don't know what happened. I saw light come in and last go. It's nice. Oh, okay.
That's why,
come on.
All right.
2020 draft had that process where cabinet ministers and the IGP and some other government officials that are very key have to go through vetting process at the National Assembly and approval, just like the Ombudsman and others are done, Ministry Council are done now. That was in the 2020 draft. In the 2024, the government took it out. And the justification by some of the officials is that they are taking a lot of powers from the president. Why should we take those things to the National Assembly? This is the position of the government. Do you think that is right?
Where you have a vetting bill going through the process, and that vetting bill will become enforced, whereby it can vet individuals who are going to take positions.
A bill and a constitution.
No.
This is a bill.
Listen, you don't want a double.
Why do you have a bill when you have the constitution?
The constitution, actually, the draft constitution, there are a lot of things there that we don't agree about as a government, as a party, and I think we are within all our rights to look at it. Things that we don't agree about, we looked at it differently.
And you edit it the way you want it?
Not the way you want it, because we are bringing it back to the people to make the decision. We cannot bring a constitution by the throat of the people. It's the Gambian people who are going to endorse a constitution. Okay. And I think we are within all our rights to look at it.
And you think that it's okay for the Gambian people collectively to have a constitution, and your government just sit in a corner and just draft what they want and send it to us to accept? You see,
we must understand one thing. Mr. Manneh, let me help you. Let's clear this out. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You have a problem accepting ministers and presidential appointees to be vetted in Parliament. But you have a problem that when we say the vetting of other people being done in an excessive way is laying the foundation for an autocracy, and you find that difficult to accept. Why will you want to vet some and not vet the others? What is so difficult about having the ministers go through a vetting process in Parliament? Why do you find it difficult to have the IGP and other senior officials in the government go to the only thing that could happen bad is that we will have very good people coming out of that process.
That's what you think.
That is the only thing that will happen.
That's what you think.
That's what is the reality.
That's what you
everywhere.
think. That's what you think.
Because the president would have to put forward people who are good, who can sail through that process. He wouldn't put two people who he knows are being picked only for political reasons, who don't have the capacity, who do not have the integrity, who do not have the qualifications to go through that. He wouldn't do it because he would know that if he does that, it wouldn't fly. So that is helping him in the first place to get the right people to that place who will do the job for the Gambian people. So what is wrong about getting that vetted? That is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong is when you tell me, your vetting bill, when it comes to us, say, when I apply for a job, I will be vetted, my family will be vetted, my people around me will all be vetted. If one of them is found to be wanting, I will not get the job. That is...
Who is telling you that?
The vetting bill.
No.
I was looking for the vetting bill.
No, that is not...
Go read it.
No. We are coming back here.
Once we talk,
we are coming back here.
We are coming
back here.
Once we talk, I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to read that provision for you. You see, these are the things that you have to be able to accept when you are wrong. There's nothing
wrong here.
There's nothing wrong saying yes. We can enhance this.
When you have a national assembly,
criticism that is supposed to make all of us get better.
When you have a polluted national assembly, I'm not saying the present national assembly. Generally, when you have a polluted national assembly. A national assembly that would...
unfortunate statement.
How can that be of course we have seen a polluted national assemblies here. We have seen today, everybody is crying spilled milk. Because that's what you are doing. Say, oh, this should have been done, or this should have not been done. We have seen the best exercise of the legislature of this country after the 2016 election was for a pro-UDP support group in government to go and amend the age of the president when there were so much important laws, draconian laws that could have been amended. Is that not self-centeredness? Let's call it spade a spade.
And who do you blame for that?
You want to ask me?
Yes.
I ask you.
Barrow was the president.
Today, Barrow is the president.
Barrow? Oh, really? He was not then. He was in 2016.
You are saying that. You are saying that.
He was not the president in 2016. Oh, that's news to me. I thought he was.
No, you are saying that. I don't say that. You are saying that.
He was the president in 2016.
You are saying today.
He was the one who appointed the justice minister.
But you have seen when it matters to the Gambian people, you gave your back to them to amend laws that suits you.
Who gave their back to the Gambian people?
When you walked into that National Assembly and changed the age limit.
You mean UDP?
Whether it was UDP or who it was done for a purpose, and it was to serve a purpose.
What was the purpose? What
we are saying,
what was the purpose?
What was the purpose?
That was the purpose.
Was the president.
That is his purpose, that he had a flag bearer for 2021.
So you said the purpose was to...
That is really unfortunate.
And to have a vice president was over 8.
You should know better than that. Because when that was changed,
come on.
When that was changed,
I just want you to say
let me respond to that, please, first. Let me just respond to that. When that law was changed, it was to get Fatoumata Tambajang to become vice president.
So you know something about it?
She could not
So you know something about it?
I mean, generally, we all knew that there was the flag was
you can change the law for one particular person.
But it was the government. It was Barrow's government that changed that.
You can change the law for one particular person.
That shouldn't have happened. Maybe.
But it was the government who changed that.
If it happened under Barrow's watch. So how do you blame Ousainou Darboe for that? Barrow was the president.
I never called Ousainou Darboe out. You have called Ousainou Darboe out.
That's what he said. He said because of that he's my flag bearer.
Now
he said because of that he become my flag bearer. That's what he just said.
I think Mr. Manneh is very unfortunate that you sit here today and call him Barrow out when you have seen all the rounds when your hand was in the pie, mixing the pancake. Put in the sugar and the essence. No, just blame me. You have
and the essence and the jumbo.
And the essence and everything. You know, he's from my cousin from we like pancake. I think everybody knows that I like pancake. I like pancake for breakfast. You had your hand inside the bowl, mixing the pancake to your satisfaction. And it all backfired. I'm sorry.
How did
it is not my fault. It is not the Gambian people's fault. It was an error of judgment on your side.
That is where you're getting it all wrong intentionally. You had Barrow here. He said when in 2017, Seedy and Fabakary Tombong Jatta went to him and told him, you have to fire UDP guys for us to work with you. From then, he was working against UDP. UDP was not in control. Barrow was in control with Fabakary Tombong Jatta and Seedy working behind the scenes to throw spanners into the works of Ousainou Darboe and these people in the UDP in the government at the time. And
I would love to move on, not to be caught in this UDP.
We are here, we know these things. So
I think my cousin is getting hung up with
Barrow and putting it on UDP. Barrow was the president. Unless you tell me that he was not.
He's still the president.
And he told us.
The box stops with Barrow.
Nobody
He was the president, he's still the president.
He came out and said it himself.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now let's move on.
Mr.
Manneh, I want to look at the economy. The MPC, 2 weeks ago, the central bank announced the MPC.
Yeah.
They said things that were interesting. Even me, who is not a finance person, they said inflation was down some percentage. They said the economy is doing well. And I had some economists here. I had Dr. Gajibo and Said Mati and others here. And I said, what I don't understand, how is the economy down? Number one, our dollar is depreciating against all major currencies. The CFA, the dollar, the pound. For the past 2 years or so, nothing has changed. Our debt portfolio has gone up. Food prices are all high. Now, somebody told me inflation is determined. It is the GBOS, to be fair to the central bank though, it is GBOS who put all this together and give that number, inflation numbers, to the central bank. Now, my question has been, how has the GBOS come with those numbers to tell us inflation has gone down? The reason inflation, what I know, inflation going down is determined by certain things. The cost of food, the cost of fuel, the cost of all these basic things that we consume. If those things go down, that is how inflation's either going down or going up is determined. Rice, as I know, has not gone down. Oil, cement, nothing has gone down. How do we say the economy is doing well when all of these things are not right? And some, you know, the people that I had on my show, they said there was no justification that the economy was doing well. But this is the numbers that the central bank is giving us. They are the authorities. If they tell us numbers, we are obliged to say, okay, but we will have to. But we will have questions. And I had questions. And I'm asking, what do you think of the numbers that the central bank said gave us to say that inflation was down and the economy is doing well?
Good. Inflation numbers are determined by a basket of commodities that are being priced every now and then by GBOS. One. GBOS is understaffed, seriously understaffed. Everybody knows that. You have to go to the market and collect that data and update it, and you rebase your basket. And that rebasing is what was happening, is what's not happening.
Okay.
So the figures that they get, that they feed to central bank, are not a reflection of the reality on the ground. And you cannot tell any Gambian today that inflation has gone down. When you go to the market, you feel something different. We are just doing some mental gymnastics here. The reality of the situation, some of those things in that basket are not what counts for the daily living of the people. But more importantly, the figures that are put in there are what are not correct. So central bank should know about that. So that's why I say we are not obliged to accept, because they know that the figures being given are not correct, because the rebasing is not done. And they know that. So they should be able to call GBOS and say, because you see, they finance a lot of these surveys in the central bank. They work with GBOS on a number of things, and they finance them to do these things. So they should be able to tell GBOS, your figures should be looked at again. We do not want to have our technical people demeaning themselves by giving us data which is not correct at all. And they know it. We know it. Even the very average Gambian who has no university or tertiary education in some of these areas to be able to assess some of these things, feel it on a daily basis. So you cannot tell that Gambian that his living standard is getting better because the dollar is getting stable, or that the inflation is going down, or that the GDP growth has gone to 5.7%. 5.7%, just take the population growth rate of the country. You deduct that from our GDP, you have 3 point something. So you see, these are all factors which should be taken into account. So you cannot just take any of those figures in isolation. They are part of a general network of things that you have to look at together. Our rice production doesn't exist anymore. Our groundnut production does not exist anymore. Very minimal. Cotton is out of the picture. Sesame is out of the picture. Jewel brew has been taxed into inexistence. Our real economy is virtually inexistent. And it's that real economy that supports the country going forward in terms of the strength of the dollar. That's what sustains the dollar. That's what sustains the economy of the country. That's what sustains inflation, going down or not.
Fatou,
If we have,
it's not actually.
If we have a system in this country where we have the import substitution, where we grow our food, the rice, the oil we transformed here from groundnuts, etc., and we save the $200 million plus dollars we spend every year to import food, that will have a huge impact on the value of the dollar. It will have a huge impact on cutting down inflation, because inflation, we import inflation. When we bring in food, just by the dollar dropping in value, depreciating in relation to the dollar, to the euro, to the CFA, just that mechanical effect makes our imports much more expensive. Yeah. So when we import food from abroad, we import inflation. So the inflation gets fueled by that. If we produce those things locally, we are saving that part of the inflation and getting it out of our figures.
Okay.
So there are some, anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on these technical issues, because you know, it sometimes gets boring for people. But
but Seedy, you and I go to the same market.
Can I just respond to him before you?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Manneh, it's unfortunate that you will look at the effort that GBOS
Charles,
is doing.
can you check your internet? It's going in and out, please.
Saying, though you can say they are understaffed, but having that doubt in the exercise of our young men and women out there doing extremely well the work that they're doing, I think that is rather unfortunate.
Don't put the wrong words into my mouth.
But that's what you just said.
I'm not talking about the staff of GBOS not doing good work. I'm saying
you are saying they are feeding the wrong.
So they cannot do all the work they need to do. So the information that is fed into the system is incomplete and inaccurate. And that's not their fault.
I think that's rather unfortunate statement to say that. Being understaffed, you are speculating. You don't go in and look at their books.
No, we all know.
No. You don't. Come on. You don't know. They are doing a brilliant job.
I know. If you don't know, you don't know,
listen,
but I know.
The leadership
I'm not talking about the brilliance of the work.
The leadership of Jibos.
Jibos leadership itself will be the first to tell you they are understaffed.
Come on. You can never have enough staffs in any way.
Yeah.
Even Fatou here, if you have your way, you'll pull up another dozens of people to come and help.
That is not the answer.
No, listen to me. But what you have just said is rather unfortunate. Because I know the young men and women sitting at Jibos are doing extremely well. And the figures that you are saying are not right. I'm putting it to you. Those figures are right until and unless you can prove it to me. They are right. They are right.
Seedy, you and I go to the same market. Okay.
No,
now that you said the figures are right.
He talked about the Dallas.
This guy is being demagogical here.
No, let me
talk about the Dallas. You talk about the Dallas.
Yeah.
You talk about the Dallas.
Yeah.
We have seen just a few weeks ago, well, 4 weeks ago, President Barrow have gone round to industrial sites. I've seen young Gambian men and women going out there doing the best for this country. We have got a farm here, a chicken farm. We have got a rice field here. We have seen Gambians going back to the land, doing what will bring this country where it was when you and I, probably you're older than me, you knew what was happening. You know, my grandmother never bought a bag of rice from a shop. And I know you know very well that when we are in Brufut, we don't buy a bag of rice. We go and we to our tandakos and our furrows and we have all what we want. But you and I know today, you don't have a farmland, I don't have a farmland. But we have seen.
That's where you're wrong. I have farms.
No,
you don't.
You don't go on farm. I have a farm. I have everybody. I just thought you have featured my farm.
You just said you don't have.
No.
You just said you don't have.
I have. You don't have.
You just said you don't have.
You don't have a farm. You
really?
know, mechanical farming down the road, that's you don't go, you don't have a farm. I go and use the ngos.
But how do you do that?
So you think that is the way for us to go?
No.
With the hoe to go and
No.
Listen, that's the problem with you people.
No. Come on. Allow me to say this.
Because you think that the farmers should go back to the farm.
I never said that. I'm saying you. I said that's what you believe. That's what you believe. And I would love to see your manifesto. I would love to see your manifesto because whatever you say, you are just giving me a textbook explanation of how the economy is run because you've never put it in your manifesto. And in our manifesto, it's well spelled out.
You see, that is the demagoguery I'm talking about you.
No, it's
this
not.
manifesto has been there for years. Why haven't you read it?
Fatou have given us a deja vu to come back here, to come here.
Okay, we will have something on your
what
manifesto.
What are you saying about the Dallas? What are you saying about the Dallas? We have seen what is happening. We have seen what is happening in our economy, and our economy is performing very well.
Really?
Seedy, let me go.
President Barrow, we are
that's an insult to the Gambians.
Seedy, you and I go to the same market. You and I go to the same market.
You see, Fatou, can I just say before you go somewhere, these people don't know what the market is like.
So where do you shop?
These are the people
Mr. Manneh, where do you shop?
Mr.
Manneh, where do you do your shopping?
Who are living off our tax dollars and getting all that they need from us. Well, they don't know what is happening in the market.
Are we aliens?
See,
are we aliens?
These people are privileged. So they're forgetting about the ordinary Gambian who is suffering. They are forgetting about the people whose business they've destroyed, whose shops they have vandalized in the name of road clearing, and who are suffering today.
Internet, please.
They are suffering in this country. And you guys don't know because you are privileged.
You call me privileged?
Yes, you are.
You are the MP.
You are giving your... I just came here, so NPP 4. They gave you that car. And you guys bought 87 vehicles here at exorbitant price and just shared amongst yourselves.
Ourselves?
Yes.
Oh my God.
You guys are privileged.
Mr. Manneh, can you allow me? Can you allow me to say this? Can you allow me to say this?
Go ahead.
I feel like whether...
Charles, can you please guys check the internet, please?
You have lost or you are lost in your words. In 2017, your MPs were scrambling for vehicles. When Gambian people were saying, we need to know where those vehicles came from. Your party leader then and now, Usainu Dabo, never want to question that. And you are now asking for my MPP. I would drive my MPP 4 and 5 and 6 and 7.
Don't do that.
No, come on. It's open secret.
You are better than that.
No, it's open secret. It's open secret.
That's beneath you. When Barrow came to UDP and said he was going to build political bureaus, Usainu Dabo asked him, where's the money coming from? No. And he wouldn't say it. And Usainu Dabo said, we're not going to build it. When they were started distributing envelopes, it's Sana Jawara.
Which envelopes? Which envelopes?
The brown envelopes.
You've seen the brown envelopes?
Sana Jawara is the one who came out. You want to deny that too?
I have never seen a brown envelope unless you see me
I
one.
want one.
I always see me. You know, some of these, I see these statements as
if you are going to be such a demagogue, it's going to be difficult to discuss with you.
Let me come back, and I think let me come back.
The Gambian people,
because we have seen it here.
It's going to be difficult to discuss with you.
I know, as far as we are concerned, MPP, we are not using taxpayers' money to run our political party.
And
exactly, we need to know where that money is coming from.
Which money? It's coming from our pockets.
Really?
Yeah, of course, it's coming from our pockets.
So you guys are so well
I want to go back. I still want to go back.
Your
president stood here and told us that Wage gave him a car that he was driving around and he was financing some of his things. We heard that on air, and he was bragging about it, driving that car. And when he built his house in Mankamankunda, and we asked him where the money was coming from, he said some goodwill donors.
So it is wrong. It is wrong for a friend to give somebody a gift. Are you
Yes,
saying
for a
that?
president, it's wrong.
It's wrong?
Because
For
it is
president,
corruption.
yes.
It's wrong?
Yes,
It is
for president.
corruption.
No,
Gifts
no,
to the
you are
president.
mixing the
Because
two.
when you get that, when you get that from somebody, you are going to give something
is
back.
not here to bribe the president, and he's not bribing the president. And the president is open and telling the whole world that my friend gave me that.
Gifts from people.
No,
See, this is where you
have
are
to.
We have seen when I was at the ADB.
Let me come here.
If I go out,
you lived you lived in abroad,
you know,
and you know that
what is so
right now.
sad,
You remember that
this gentleman
the former FIFA president, including some government officials, have been banned from football just for receiving gifts during their position. Let me tell you, in everywhere in the world, big democracies, you cannot receive gifts. Even our 2020 draft said presidents, if gifts are given to president and minister, they should declare it.
When I was working at the ADB,
why do they say?
It's wrong. I think that is wrong.
When I was working at the ADB, if I go into the field
public consumption, for
if I go into the field on mission and I get any gift, I have to give it back to the ADB.
If you talk about each other,
if I go to the
our
ADB,
viewers and our listeners will not get it.
When I was at the ADB, if I go out to the field and I'm given anything, when I come back, I hand it over to the ADB, because it is corruption. It's not acceptable.
So I'll go back.
You should know better than that. You should know better than that.
You are mistaking what President Barrow said.
You should know better than accepting that President Barrow is okay.
You cannot make use a sweeping statement just because somebody happened to give President Barrow something. It's a corruption.
So you think that's okay?
I'll go back to the internet. I'll go back to the. I'll go back to the economy.
I travel.
You think it's okay for somebody to
go back? I want to go back to economy.
So you call that corruption?
I want to go back to the economy.
My colleagues, I bring gifts to my colleagues. You call that corruption?
Because
when you give president,
if you give
president gift,
that is wrong in
anywhere city. I want to go back. That is wrong.
And you build a house.
That's your opinion. That is your opinion. That is your opinion.
I want to go back to the economy. I want to go back to.
I don't think that is corruption.
I want to go back to the economy.
Okay.
Let's. I still, like I said, you, me, and every other person goes to the same market. Do you feel that Banco can price will die by talata? Let's do English because a lot of people are watching. You and I all go to the same market, just like every other person. I feel that prices are still high. Gambia, when prices go up, they never go down. And this is one thing I've said one time. I said, even though they were saying that they were giving, duty waivers to people, the government even came up with a mechanism where they give incentives to people to bring a lot of rice and stuff and food commodities to make it easy for us. They took money from our treasury and gave it to people because they want food commodities to be cheap and affordable. Up to now, that has not happened. Prices have not gone down. You and I go to the same market. Jabo bila dakuyata, tulo, mano, subo, everything has gone up. Now, how is the economy doing well if we cannot even afford proper 3 meals that our country is known for? How can you justify the economy is doing well in this situation?
You just talked about onions. Mm-hmm. Of course, when you go to a corner shop, you may buy onion, say $900 or something. Or
1,200 for a bag.
Roundabout. A
1,200.
local producer is a local producer. No. I know.
1,200.
Okay.
I bought it Kununko.
You bought it Kununko?
Yeah.
I bought it a week ago, not 1,200. And
How
I just
much?
bought it around the corner here. Okay. I don't want to give publicity
Please
to the
give
shop.
me your shop number. Your shopkeeper.
In fact,
I will be glad to move.
I'll get an onion from a local producer, the best onion. You can store it for weeks and it will not be rotten. I can get a bag of onion tomorrow. This is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You go around here in Bondali, there's a local producer of onions, far cheaper.
Yeah.
than the imported onions.
Yeah.
You go around, you go to these farms around.
Yeah.
The local producers, cheaper.
So why don't you empower those people?
No, listen to this.
Let him feel, yeah.
President Barrow, recently, Mr. Manneh, come on. He has gone around to see those people. He has gone as far as even seeing tailors, industrial tailors, encouraging them, supporting them, listening to them. We didn't have that here before. He went across the country, the South Bank, the North Bank. He went out to see, young Gambians doing what's best for us. He went to somewhere here where a gentleman is there, having a very good farm with chicken and all sorts. You went to Bondali, onions. You went to CRR, a rice field. And our government, under the leadership of President Barrow, is doing everything to encourage those people, to support them. And we have seen the ministry is doing that. Let me
finish. My question is,
yes.
How can you justify the economy is doing well when basic commodities are still very high?
It is where you buy your basic commodity. If you go to maybe a corner shop to buy it, of course. Fatou, I know you will not go to Tipa Garage 6 in the morning.
I go to Tipa Garage.
You go to Tipa Garage at what time? And
it doesn't matter what time I go.
I drive to Tipa Garage. I'll get a lot more for my money. And when you go to Tiba Garage 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, of course, the Jais have already given to the small retail sellers, and of course they'll put their prices on it. But if you want to have the best for your money, go to Tiba Garage early in the morning.
The don't sell rice. The Jai don't sell oil. They don't sell sugar and all this big stuff. It is the shops. I'm talking about these.
There are those shops. I don't want to name shops, but I have seen where local grown rice are sold cheaper compared to the imported rice.
We don't have enough demand for everybody in this country. So,
but if you are not even going for it, how can you say you don't have it?
Because there isn't enough for everybody.
No, I'm not saying there is enough, but we have to start from somewhere. And that is actually happening. We have seen local grown rice.
But do you agree that the basic commodities are still very high in this country?
You have to understand we are in a global meltdown as far as the economy is concerned. Not only Gambia. We are not. It is an isolated incident. What do we need to understand? We have seen from the COVID-19 to the Ukraine war and to all what is happening. Now, of course, you don't have an economic program for this country. All you talked about, President Barrow. Put out your economic program for me. And we go back to BR and see your campaign messages in 2021.
That is what we have been talking about.
No, I'm just telling you, we have an economic program that we are selling to the Gambian people, and the Gambian people trusted us and gave us overwhelming majority
but
of the Gambian people.
Is your economic program working?
It's working.
Because the country is still
2021,
foods are expensive.
No, the 2021, we don't have the amount of rice being produced in CRRs. Now we have more rice produced in Sierra. You go to somewhere here, what is happening there is not happening in 2021. Now we have seen that. We have seen Gambians. Fatou, you go around the corner from here, local eggs. Fatou, come on. So many local eggs in this country, and I'm so quite soon we'll stop importation of eggs. Gambians are producing that. You want to tell me our economy is not working? It is working for the Gambians.
You and I, are we living in the same country?
We're not.
Maybe you are blind seeing what is happening. I'm sorry to say this.
I go to the market. I have families to feed.
You see,
I buy.
This is where we
are you not
progress.
seeing homegrown eggs?
Yes, I see those.
All over the place.
I see
healthier, organic. Yeah. President Barrow have inspired the Gambian people to go back and produce.
This is
for
why
our
we cannot progress
for health,
because
for
when you
good
deny
living
reality
and well-being. We are consuming the produce that we grow in this country, and it's good for our well-being.
Really?
When people look at me and say, "Ceesay, you're looking well," I say, "Because
of course you're looking well.
I'm going to the land.
Of
I'm
course
just teasing my cousin. It's my cousin.
You are NPP supporters. You are all looking well. All NPP supporters are looking well.
I know I'm going to get a lot of insults,
all
but I'm teasing my cousin.
supporters are looking well.
They are all affluent.
We are not looking well.
They are all affluent. They are all affluent because they are taking care of themselves. And the rest of the country is don't bother. See, all,
Mr. Manneh, I want to tell you, go to Brookfoot and get your fish.
When you
and you eat well.
There's
so much fish there, and you miss going to the seaside.
I go to buy my fish there every time to support my local community.
That's what you're supposed to do.
But this, you know the prices are skyrocketing. You know that. Don't tell us things that are not true. You see, if you want to help this country, you have to look at the reality in stark in the face.
We know the reality, because and we are in touch with the reality. We are in touch with the Gambian people.
Not.
Absolutely.
Certainly not.
Well,
if you
by tomorrow, I'll be going across the country. I'll be going to every single region in this country, and I'm talking to the Gambian.
When did you last?
When did you last went to Basse or Sierra? When did you
3
last?
months ago.
3 months. I go every 2 weeks.
Yeah, because you have an MPP car with
No, I don't have
so you can
about
drive
MPP
there.
car. I go and talk to the people.
You go politic.
Of course, he's part of our life. He's part of our life. He's a politician.
I do. And
yeah, he goes politics, but he doesn't do the real politics. You know, his politics stays in a motel or in a B&B.
Yeah.
We go and sleep with our people.
That's
we go and sit our people. We go and eat with our people.
Yeah, right.
And that's what it is.
And you eat the same food like
Of
that?
course.
How come I'm not eating
Today,
the same
before I came here, you know what I
How
had?
come I'm not eating the same food?
I had pempeng.
How
very
come I'm
cheap.
not eating the same
Listen,
food?
Fatu.
You see,
Yesterday,
How come I'm not eating the same food?
Let me help you here.
How come I'm not
Yes,
eating
they're all
the same
looking
food?
very
But
well.
maybe you don't choose it. Like what I had. Yesterday, we cooked pempeng at my office. And we kept some in the fridge, and today we heat it up. So we are not doing double money.
You see, you have that luxury. You have that luxury. Some people don't even cook enough to eat for the day.
No, I'm
fridge.
telling it's cheap.
Okay,
It's cheap.
And you happily have
Food
a
is still
generator.
cheap in the Gambia
You have a
compared to anywhere
generator,
else
so
in the
your
world.
fridge doesn't go off.
I'm telling you. You go to Senegal every now and then. Let's
You
pick
say food
Senegal.
is cheaper.
In the Gambia than anywhere else in the world. When did you last went to England? Go to England today and buy a pint of milk. And when you were there,
Look
say
at
2017, how much
if
it
you
is.
say that you
Come on,
compare the
let's
salaries. Compare the salaries too. So what you get
Now-
here and what you get is totally different.
Mr.
When you are
Manneh,
telling me, you told me,
Now-
Mr. Manneh, I think you need to come with me. I take you to our village and we go and see for ourselves.
And you put some in the fridge and heat it today. Some people don't have the luxury of having enough on the table for the day.
That is
They can't even put it in the fridge.
wrong.
One,
That is
two,
not right. That
your
is not
fridge probably doesn't go because you have a generator or you have solar power.
No,
They don't even have a
I'm
fridge.
using NAWEC. I am using NAWEC.
Now,
You go to
talking
my
about
office.
NAWEC.
You go to my office.
Talking
There is
about-
no solar. There is no generator. It's NAWEC.
Talking
Mr.
about
Manneh.
NAWEC.
And you have a generator at your house.
Now, let's
because I've
talk
seen
about-
you have a generator at your
talking
house.
about
I don't have
NAWEC.
that. You have the privilege. You have the luxury. I don't. Because I'm living like any other Gambian in this country.
No,
Yeah,
you're not.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can say
yeah,
that.
No,
you
I'm
are.
living like any other Gambian. I have
you
no
are
generator.
not.
I have no
you
solar.
have solar.
I don't.
You have generator.
I don't have
You
battery.
have
You-
security.
you-
You have a car. You have all of
If you
that.
tell the Gambians that,
You eat-
they will
you eat
tell you,
Saddam rice.
"Anyadu nale."
And I eat ordinary
I
I
rice.
don't even eat
I
rice. much.
have
I use
solar.
local
But you
produce.
I have
use Saddam.
solar in
local
my
produce.
house, yes. And that is because of you guys cannot provide electricity for us. I
No.
have to put solar in my house.
When
Now, let's talk about-
you
let's
were
talk
in this
about- no,
country,
see,
I
let me
sank a
come. I'm coming to
borehole
that.
Yeah, okay.
because you cannot
Okay.
provide running water for us.
Sidi,
I mean,
Sidi, now-
Fatu is the
now-
one moderating,
now
unless you
coming
want to take this.
Now,
this
coming to that, you know, I mean, the example is here itself. We are on our solar right now.
Yeah.
Whenever we even start any live show, the first thing I tell them, I'm sure you saw the cable to our OV van. I said to them, don't ever rely on NAWEC. Let's connect to the solar and the OV van because we know before the end of the show, it
Power
will
is going to go off.
It will go. And, you know, this has been really, it has been bad. It went good at some point, you know, moderate, right? But it has gone bad again. And the president himself said to us, I did a video like this, President Barrow Mamayaka, and people were cursing me out. But you know, when the president said, you got capacity is total and and the other day, I went to TikTok and did a video on that audio because it was funny. Where is the capacity? I remember in 2017, when the government came, the president went to the NAWEC plant in Bukutu. He visited there. You know, we all sympathize with NAWEC. I had a show with the NAWEC management, entire management, from management to managing director, water, electricity, distribution, networking, and they laid out what kind of system we had. It was obsolete, no development in their backbone, all of that. They laid it out for us. I was one of those people who said to them, you know what, you told me this in confidence. Let's have a show and tell the Gambian people, be honest to the Gambian people and tell them what kind of system we have, what you have gone through in the past 22 years. Because 22 years was not just economical to, you know, killing and others, but it had also had a lot of consequences on our institutions, how they were managed and run. It drained a lot of them. NAWEC was one of those. And they told us what was happening. And the president then, when he visited, sympathized with NAWEC and promised that he was going to make sure in the next couple of years, and I think it was around 3 years, he said, that and people understood then. It went to a point officiata, but it had gone bad again, Seedy. The World Bank has spent a lot of money to help NAWEC. I did a documentary.
All the development partners.
I did a documentary for them on one of their projects that they did with some partners in Kenya, and those partners, contracted us to do a documentary on what they have done for NAWEC. And when I went to interview the World Bank officials, the kind of money they were talking about that they have injected in NAWEC, and I still see this. Last week we saw the minister say Gambia is owing Senegal 10 billion CFA, right? And they are owing Car Power also. Car Power is generating a certain percentage. NAWEC, Senegal is basically doing the upcountry, all of it basically, and some part of this also.
10 billion for 3 months.
That was for 3 months. And I'm thinking, how, and something the PRO said on the brunch here, and I was like, this is serious. To say that the PRO said Gambia cannot take care of our power supply. We don't have the financial muscles to take care of our needs as we speak. That is a serious issue or a serious revelation coming from the NAWEC PRO.
It's an indictment.
With this kind of situation, Seedy, do you tell me how will business thrive in this kind of environment? For me, as a young business person, I have to have solar, I have to have batteries, a system that is cost hundreds and thousands plus. At some point, you have to change the batteries after a few months because they are running out. It's how people who are on generators, the tailors, the other people, the fishermen who have to glass or kill. This affects everybody, our lives. Let's forget about Nabunkono Kurangol, but how it affects productivity in this country. Now, what is this justification for 7 years into this government?
7 years.
Or 8 years. I think it's about 8 years. 5 years and then 3 years.
7 years and 50 years. But we have to be realistic here.
Okay.
In as much as we want to dig in, the present government, we have to be realistic. You said, after you visited NAWEC, you saw what was there. It was zero.
Yeah.
There was no infrastructure.
She didn't say that.
Obsolete.
I am telling you, there was no infrastructure that could sustain the present demand of electricity.
Okay, that's qualifying it here.
What I'm saying, when I talk to the days we are going to school, some will say, my dad was an electrician who worked in GWC and even before GWC, and had to resign the time MSG came in. So I always tease people, I said, so I understand what is actually happening. I'm not an electrician, I'm not an expert, but I understand because I did my little footballs in Kotu Station, in Bakau, in Havdai. These were the substations.
Yeah.
What we need to understand is that NAWEC, present NAWEC, when we look back, there was no capacity that was built to sustain the present demand. Let me give you a simple example. Today, this present government is building high tensions at 190. Until 2017, there was no single high tension over 90 in this country. So for a layman, like me, for example, if you cry about NAWEC, you say, oh, Kuramansur, fine, Kuramansur, of course, Kuramansur. But the population that was designed to have the supply then and the present population is vast difference. So what needs to be done, and that's what the present government is doing, is to build the infrastructure of NAWEC. You go to Kotu now, and Mr. Manneh, you go to Kotu. I challenge you to go to Kotu and see the generator number 3, the generator number 11, and you name them. All of them have been shut down. And that is not because of President Barrow, but it's because of the NAWEC then, what happened there. So here is a government.
For your information, I've been not only to NAWEC, Kotu, but to Brikama as well, for your information.
No, I just don't want to. And I don't want to just certain examples. So this is the problem. And with the leadership of President Barrow and his government have seen this, that in order for Gambian people to have the necessity and their right, it's a fundamental right for electricity supply and water. And what they are doing is to make sure that they build the infrastructures that will stay to serve our needs. And that's what is happening now. And in order to do that, it's not a 7-year project. It is not a 7-year project. If you bring anybody from Nawek to Ceesay, I will tell you, and Mr. Manneh knows very well, that you cannot build an electricity infrastructure in 7 years.
Really?
It is, of course, really? It happens nowhere.
Okay,
Really?
Go ahead.
Yes,
Go
it
ahead. Let him
happens
go.
nowhere because it involves a lot of resources and capacity. That's why you have seen of late all the rural electrification, all the high tensions going out in order to provide the Gambian people the electricity that they need. And not only that, but also to look at other renewable energy. We have seen the solar farm in Jambur. We have seen another one coming, a lot more other renewable energy coming. So this is the idea that President Barrow have and his government and his Ministry of Energy to move the Gambia from this set of, you call it frustrated, you call it people are struggling and all that. But in order to do that, we must build the capacity of Nawek and infrastructure. Okay. And in doing that, of course, there will be troubling times.
Yeah.
There will be troubling times because it is not like you're going to shut everything down and give everybody no electricity. But we have to build the infrastructure. As you build along the infrastructure, you are providing service as we go. And I'm sure in not too long, that infrastructure, if it's not completely developed, but at least we have seen a better service by Nawek. And I think the men, young men and women out there are doing a fantastic job in terms of building the infrastructure. I mean, he knows. When UEC was here, Gambia Useless Corporation, that's what they call my father and others. He can never drive in this car. Even kids will stone him in half-die. I know what was happening. And now, you have a government that have seen the needs and the aspiration of the Gambian people.
Mr. Manneh, Mr. Seedy is saying we have to be a little patient. Since the infrastructure was obsolete, this government has taken over itself to build a proper infrastructure. Would you accept that, yes, it needs to take time for us to have a proper infrastructure to cater for the needs that we want as a people? Yes, we have grown in population. The capacity that they would want 50 years ago when they had those generators is different from today's capacity. Is this a good justification of what we are experiencing today?
Not at all. You see, because you cannot spin these things. We live it, we see it, and we know it. GUC had its issues. The Gambia has had electricity issues, and it's not new to this government. What is consistent is the lack of a cogent policy to change this whole system. You said, Barrow has been telling us that we have so much capacity now, we've shut down some. Who was telling him that? Who was misleading him? We have here a country which loses minimum 24-25% of our power just to the T&D, transmission and distribution. 24-25% is lost to T&D. Who didn't take care of that? When this government came in power, he probably knows, from 2017 to 2024, this government received $447 million injected into Nawek.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. What couldn't we have done with that? He says you cannot do this in 7 years. I'll give you the example of Rwanda. We did the Rwanda Rural Electrification Project. When we started, the World Bank came in with us, and they were not happy with some of the things. President Kagame said, if you don't want to be part of it, you are free to leave. They left. We did it. And he said, we're going to do this on schedule. The schedule was 24 months. It was done in 22 months.
Wow.
Cote d'Ivoire next door here, when Ouattara came, after the Gbagbo years, the Gbagbo decade of mismanagement and destruction, in 3 years, he overhauled the electricity system in Cote d'Ivoire. He revamped Azito power station. They produced so much more that they were selling power to the West African power pool. You know, ADB and we helped to build 5 power pools in Africa. East Africa Power Pool, North Africa Central West, and North Africa Power Pool, which is Comelec. We built those power pools and we encourage independent power producers, IPPs, and the states, when they have excess, you sell to those power pools, okay? If we had in this country here an initiative to bring down, for example, the cost of solar panels and batteries, you and I can put solar panels on our roofs, produce enough for our needs, and we sell the rest to the grid.
Yeah.
In Tunisia, every public office, every public building, they put solar panels on every one of them. So every one of them produce enough solar power for their own needs, and they feed the rest into the grid. These are the sort of things you can do here. All of these buildings in the quadrangle in Banjul, Royal Victoria Hospital or RBTH or whatever it's called today, all of those things, you can put solar panels on them. They will generate enough electricity. You would have people dying in the operating theater because power failed. You can produce enough energy there to feed the structures and sell the excess to the grid, or you can even reserve it in the grid. When you need it, you go for it. You see, all of these are technical things that are possible and which are being done. If this government had properly used the $447 million that was pumped into the Nawe grid, we would have been talking a different story. When Fatajo was here, before Fatajo left, our generation had gone up to about 50 plus megawatts.
Okay.
Today we are at 4. Why are we so short-sighted that we have to depend on other people for our strategic power supply? Senelec is providing us so much of this power. Yeah. If I remember, I think it was 47 megawatts that's coming from Senegal.
Yeah, around 40 something.
And we owe them 10 billion CFA for 3 months. That's about $16 million for 3 months. So in the year, for a year, that is $64 million.
That's different from car power payment.
Exactly. Car power, what people are saying, depending on who you talk to, is from 2 to 3.5 million. I don't want to get into that because I don't know that. I don't know it for sure. Again, but at least for Senelec, they have told us directly.
Yes, the minister told us, yeah.
So why do we need to spend so much money buying power from other people who can overnight? Today we are having the power problems because Senelec is scaling down on the power supply. So we are in a situation where we are at the mercy of another country. We should have energy sovereignty, and we should work towards it. That's not something you achieve overnight, but you work for it.
But how will
Mr. Manneh, Fatou, Mr. Manneh have just contradicted himself completely.
Let me come here.
He just contradicted himself.
Let me come here.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Let me come here. Let me come.
And that's what my government is. That's what my government is. And when you talk about power cuts right now,
yeah.
You go after Brikama. The whole of the Farafenyas, the buses. Have you checked with them? They are not having power cuts like that.
Let me come here.
Let me come.
Let me respond. The majority of the population.
No.
Let me respond. That statement.
You cannot spin this reality.
But what they are doing here now is to fix that problem. And what Mr. Manneh is just saying about Ivory Coast and Rwanda, you are mixing apple and oranges. What happened in Rwanda? We are not aliens. We understand that. You may have your hand in there. So we see that about the infrastructure at the time that Rwanda have, Gambia did not have that in 2017. And you know that. I know that. No, let's be honest.
Are you serious?
Of course. Check it out.
I was there.
No, there was power tensions that are over 290 in Rwanda.
Went through a brutal civil war.
Civil war. No, listen. Listen to this. What went through civil war? They went through a civil war. That's human catastrophe. I understand. But when it comes to the electricity, the infrastructure was far better than us in 2017. No,
the grid was destroyed. We didn't have a war here. We didn't have a war here, thank God.
The war did not destroy the electricity there.
Oh, dear.
And when you went to Abidjan as well, because you have spoken, allow me, we are not living in a bubble. It's a global village. You have your smartphone there, you can check it, and I can prove you wrong. What was in Rwanda was not here. What was in Abidjan was not here. He knows. He knows what was here.
You should be this NPP spokesperson.
You know what was here. What was here then was absolutely zero.
No, I told you.
I said to you, my father resigned the day MSG took over. And the reason why he resigned, I don't need to say that.
Seedy.
Because we knew where the problem was.
No,
we knew what was happening then. He knew what was happening. And that's where we are now. And President Barrow is working tirelessly. And his government is working tirelessly. You are talking about the $400 million. That $400 million is what is transforming our electricity. Really? And you know that.
Seedy.
Just because,
really?
Of course that is what is happening.
At this point, Seedy, we are firefighting. Seedy,
we are not firefighting.
Let me come.
No,
let me come as a country.
Yes.
As a country, almost 50 megawatts of our electricity is coming from our neighbors. And then you have Car Power Ship. That's a private carrier supplying us power. NOWEC in itself, I don't think they generate anything up to close to 10. They don't. Alamantankala. Today, Senelec says, you pay us or we pull the plugs. And Car Power said, you pay us or we pull the plugs. A country of its own, we cannot provide even like, Seedy, that is, security reason, that is bad.
Fatu.
No, that is bad.
After 7, 8 years, we're going back. We're going back.
You are talking about 7 years. I take you back, to the Sadauda.
We don't want to go back.
Listen to, you guys need to be honest with us, please.
I'm honest.
Really? No, you are
very
not.
honest.
You are not.
Very honest.
You are crying.
We have more power on the Jawara and
Mr. Manneh, with all respect, you have spoken. Allow me to explain to you an industry that you have no idea about. You don't know anything about industry as far as NOWEC is concerned. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. I grew up in that very power station.
Your father knew, but you don't know.
I knew very well.
Your father knows.
My first job was to carry bulbs and carry
so that makes you know NOWEC.
I understand what is there. And you ask
so what
any
makes
of
that?
them. You ask any of them.
Because you carry bulbs makes you understand NOWEC more than us?
What Mr. Manneh needs to understand. No, let me what Mr. Manneh needs to understand. Whatever measures Car Power is doing, Senelec is doing, is temporal. No one is telling you.
For 5-6 years temporal.
Come on, we have countries out there that have used energy from other parts of the world.
That is no justification.
No, it's not about justification. We came into this country at a crisis point. You know that. You know that. Come on.
And the crisis
don't bury
got
your heads in the sand.
And the crisis has got worse.
Do not bury your head in the sand.
No,
the crisis is not gone.
See,
no, Mr. Manneh, allow me to conclude. Allow me to conclude. Allow me to conclude. You know, and Fatou have said it here, and you too said, to build the infrastructure is not overnight. You have contradicted yourself. What is actually happening is we are building the infrastructure. And when those infrastructures are built, we have a Gambia that you and I will have electricity 24 hours. And by 2026, this government will have electricity 24 hours.
24 hours electricity.
Yes, I can tell you that. You can take it to the bank.
We've been hearing that for the past 8 years.
No, but we have made great improvement. We have made great improvement.
Really?
Yeah, of course we have made great improvement. You were here. You were in this country.
I was.
Yes, and you knew how you were struggling.
The situation is
worse
now.
You knew how you were struggling. You with your kerosene lights.
The situation is worse now.
He used to have a kerosene light because he never get electricity.
But today
we are giving electricity for most of part of the day.
So you think
most part of the week.
So you think
you have seen great improvement. You know, why can't you not accept?
Why are you so content with mediocrity?
No, we are not content. That's why we are.
Why are you content with mediocrity?
No, we are not. We are not.
These
What
are
we
the
are
people
saying.
who will sing boreholes for us.
I'm saying. Right now, we are
and they make a big deal
day and night. Before I walked in here, I've seen what NOWEC is doing in the interior of this country. Poles are going all over the place. They are building the capacity. We have seen it. So come on, you cannot sit here and tell me after 50 odd years of complete collapse. No, Mr. Manneh, after 50 years of complete collapse of our energy sector, a government that came in 7 years giving electricity to your satisfaction, you cannot be honest enough to accept that. Please accept it.
But they're not giving us
satisfaction.
This is satisfaction. Take the satisfaction back.
This is what I'm saying.
We are not
satisfied. They are happy with mediocrity.
No, give us
mediocrity.
Take the satisfaction
you
back.
You live in a house where you have power all the time.
Take the satisfaction back.
Mr. Manneh, you are talking as if I live in the planet. I live in this country. I live in this country. I have no solar. I have
you have solar.
I can take a video.
You have solar. You have solar. You have generators. My friend, you have solar.
If you are content with mediocrity, we are not.
No, come on.
We are not content with mediocrity.
But you said, for me,
this country is
when my good brother said, when you build in the infrastructure of energy, it is not overnight.
Of course, it's
After
not overnight.
all what he said,
but you have
7-8
years.
Come on. In 7 years,
country
we
was
took
better
over
off
an industry. Mr. Manneh, let's be honest
No,
with
in
you. We
terms
took
of
over an
electricity,
industry.
tell me.
To have said it here.
Tell me.
An industry that was collapsed.
Tell me, in 7 years ago, we were better off in electricity supply than today.
Are you saying that?
Yes.
Are the Gambian people listening to
Yes.
you?
BOK
Yes.
is bad. Today
Yes.
is bad. For the past 2 weeks,
I'm sorry.
Nawel
I'm
has
sorry.
been
I'm
bad.
sorry. I don't think we should
Supply.
continue this
No, for the
conversation.
past 2 weeks,
Mr.
Nawel-
Manneh, since he sat here, he has not said anything good that is actually happening. And he want to tell me
Because
that
you're
you have
not
not
doing
seen...
anything.
No,
Ceesay,
Mr. Manneh.
Ceesay.
You want to tell me you have not seen anything good in this country.
Ceesay, I want to say, and I want to ask, let me
I am
come,
not here
Ceesay.
to sing your
Tell
praise.
me. No, I'm
not saying you
Because
sing
I'm
my
not
praise,
working.
but
I'm telling you, the
Ceesay,
things that are
tell
working, you
me,
need to fix.
tell me, let me ask him, Ceesay. Tell
to
me,
fix the things that are
tell me
working.
in a
we
very...
are doing our utmost and the Gambian people
And
appreciate
you-
what we are doing.
Yeah,
Which
you will see
we
that
are
in
also
26.
Gambian people, the Ceesay.
Of course, I'm a Gambian. Fatu, I'm not alien. I'm a
Ceesay,
Gambian.
tell me, what specific
You are sitting
good
there mopping
has
your
this
face
government
because
done?
you don't have power here.
Ceesay,
You're so well sweating.
what specific good has this government done for the past 7 years that you can look at and say, this is a success story?
Tell
me.
us. Tell us.
Fatu, I think definitely
You are the people-
we had this conversation.
You are the
the
people-
infrastructure, the road infrastructure that you have seen in this
$89
country.
million
The road-
to build a
Allow me to
22
answer,
kilometer road.
Fatu.
How about I
Is it going to be a 2-in-1 fight? Or
No, I'm asking questions. Me, I ask questions.
You cannot
You know
spin
you
this.
are in government, so
You
I'm
would like
going to be
to spin
asking
this
more
reality.
questions. You are in government.
Fatu,
He will react, but
Fatu,
me, I'm asking questions.
I can sit here and name tons
Okay.
that had happened.
Start.
But I can tell you, the road infrastructure, today I can drive to Basse,
Yeah.
not in more than 3.5 hours. I can go inside Basse, go to the Woolies, go to the Nyanis, and even the Kiangs. The road infrastructure that we have seen. That alone, you are asking me what have this government done in 7 years, Mr. Manneh? I mean, I'm ashamed to hear that question. Because we are on a daily basis, we have seen what is actually happening. So if you sit here telling me, even our village in Brufut,
Yeah,
it's a town.
Talk about
It's a town.
Let's
No,
talk about
come
it.
on.
Unless you don't hear on
Let's talk about it.
Okay, go ahead.
That was
No.
a propaganda.
Let's
Come
talk
on.
about it.
The people of Brufut came out and debunked that story.
What story?
I live in Brufut.
I sent my
even now-
cameras there. The drainage system that the road has caused.
This is what
No.
I'm
Ceesay,
saying.
your own people.
You
But
cannot
when you
spin
go to the
this. You cannot
furrows,
spin
when
this
you go to the
reality. I'll
furrows
let
and
you
take your
do.
videos,
You cannot
that is
spin
different
this
from my
reality.
Brufut
Furrows.
community.
Ceesay,
You went to the furrows.
Ceesay,
I
you
saw where
should
you
be
went.
ashamed to
I
say
know
that.
Brufut.
Coming from
Ceesay,
Brufut, you should be
Ceesay,
ashamed to say
stop.
that.
Same what?
No, Ceesay,
What say that
stop.
Brufut is doing well
Ceesay, you are
What?
in
accusing
terms
us.
of road. You should be ashamed to say that.
Accusing
Ceesay, you are
you?
accusing
No, I'm
me.
not saying you didn't go to Brufut.
Because we went to the forest.
We
did not go to the forest.
Today, that's where people are residing.
We went to the school, Brufut school.
But
Geo-
the Brufut school has always been like that. It's been always jammed with water. So how can you say that is road?
Go ahead,
That's
I'm
Brufut
not-
road. That is
Okay.
that is
All right, go
that
ahead.
Brufut
Tell me
road.
more. Tell me
That's
more.
Brufut.
Silo,
So,
look, Silo, animo. Government them like a Silo.
the improvement of electricity, our health facility.
Which
we have seen.
electricity?
This electricity, Fatu.
Okay.
Come on, let's be
No, I'm
honest.
asking.
Yeah, there are tons. I cannot
Okay.
see. I can sit here and name till daybreak.
One
All
thing
the-
I can say,
Yes.
I tell them, well, they have all reasons to support you.
And they are supporting us. And they are supporting us. And it's not only Kiang.
That one I can-
The rural
I can give
edification,
you.
the rural edification in this country is a success. The road infrastructure is a success. Mr. Manneh knows.
What have you done in the health sector?
You sit here to ask me. Just behind your backyard here, we are building the biggest lab of our time. It's just right here. Brusubi here. And you're asking me what we have done in this country.
A lab, is that
No,
a
no.
lab? A
You
lab?
never had one like this. You never had one. We're building over 2,000
You
bed
go to
bed
hospitals, there's no medicine at the hospitals.
You go to hospital, there is no medicine?
Yes. At the RVTH, there's allegations of corruption at the RVTH
That's why
investigations.
you're trying to build a hospital in State
I don't
House.
know what you're telling me, health, development health.
It's not, what are you talking about? Building a health?
No,
There's
no,
always been-
Ngamurumbak, no. Hospital, State House, Blaje, Ngamurumbak, health sector.
Health sector.
Borol Terop
That's what you believe.
That's true.
Okay. That's news to me.
Okay.
You
That's
see?
news to me.
I thought they don't
But
live the
I know
reality
that
of this country.
I have visited Ndemban, I
They don't
visited
live the reality of this
RBTH. I don't
country.
use any private clinic when I'm poorly, when I have flu, or I go
You
there.
go to the UK to get treatment.
No, why do I
You guys
go?
don't live
Can
the
I fly
reality
to
of this
UK anytime I
country.
get
You
a
do.
common cold?
You have
You
a
know,
60
I don't.
million. You have a 60 million thing for you guys to travel abroad for treatment.
What?
60 million you gave yourself in the budget to travel abroad.
I'm not a civil servant. You see, Mr. Manneh is completely ignorant
your
about his
government.
brother.
It's your government.
No, I'm not. I don't work for
Yeah,
government.
yeah.
So
But
Mr. Manneh
it's
doesn't
your
even know.
government.
The amalgamation between,
Mr. Manneh,
between
I don't
NPP
work
and
for
government
government.
is flagrant.
I'm
We
a
know that.
politician. and I sit
We
in
know
the
that
NPP as the admin
confusion
secretary of the
between
party.
NPP
So in
and
case you don't
government
know,
is
let me
total.
enlighten you that.
Yeah.
The confusion between NPP and government
No,
is total.
no, it's
You know
completely
that.
separate.
You
It's
know that.
completely, no,
Come
no,
on,
no, it's
don't give me
completely
that.
How is
separate.
it separate?
You see,
I know it's separate.
you see,
I know it's separate.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy anything that the civil servants enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy anything that the people in government enjoy.
yeah.
I don't. And I don't see anybody who enjoy it.
NPP officials are traveling with the president.
But it's
the president, and they are not in
the president
government.
has a right to choose anybody to be part of his delegation. Come on, Fatou. Let's be honest.
Yes.
The president can wake up today and say, I want Mr. Manneh to be part of my delegation.
Okay.
No, the president have all his
it won't happen.
You know,
I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot
Of
pole.
course, because you can never see anything good that President Barrow has done.
I won't touch him with a 10-foot
Mr. Manneh,
pole.
so Ceesay have mentioned all of these things. Obviously, you know, I enjoy the Senegambia road. I love it. It's fast. It's quick to come to my work.
We did speed humps.
Huh?
We did speed humps.
Yeah. so you know, the road,
Look at this man, what he
the
said,
road
speed humps.
infrastructure.
You need those speed humps.
There are some improvements there. I don't agree with him on the health and the electricity.
You see,
I think this government, the biggest thing they do, and the president takes boast, is the infrastructure.
Let me just come
so
there.
the president says,
Let me just
so
come
he
there,
has done
please.
well in
No, he has done well in everything.
In road
He has maintained the
construction. I don't know about
democracy,
health.
he has consolidated the
Let me just come
democracy, everything.
Let me just come there. I've listened
Okay,
to
so
him.
let me get the
Yes.
reaction here.
I said speed humps and he was laughing about it, but because even speed bumps, they call it speed humps. Okay? But this is the road. Ibrahim Silla stood there and told us that this was about, I think, February, March, that they had spent $89.6 million to build the Battle Harding Highway. And he said by the time they finish, they're going to spend $150 million on it. He said it on Peter Gomez. The videos are there. I can send it to him.
Yes,
if
he
you want
said
some.
it on Coffee Time. Yeah.
These roads take up about $1 million per kilometer. So 89.6 million means $3.5 million per kilometer.
Wow.
That's 3.5 times the standard. If you put $150 million, it will mean you spend $6.8 million per kilometer.
Wow.
With $150 million that he's putting in 22 kilometers, if you do the proper work, you can extend the road to Sujara Soma, maintain what is there, do a dual carriageway past Soma.
I think...
but you see, let me finish. But you see, these are the things that are happening. There's money being lost in those kind of mega prestige projects and white elephants. Nowhere in the world will you spend $3.5 million, let alone $6.8 million per kilometer per road. It doesn't happen. When you have the $1 million per kilometer road, is you have the flyovers, you have the tunnels on a 6 to 8 lane road. And he is spending 3.5 to 6.5 times that amount on a road here, where you cannot even have footbridges to cross the road, but you build a highway and you put zebra crossings and everything for people to slow down to allow the pedestrians to go across. When you build these kind of roads, you're supposed to have your designs where you make provision for footbridges at particular points for people to be able to cross. So when you build this and you put that sort of structure, you defeat the purpose, one. Two, when this road was being built, we are all here. All that was going into this road was backfill. There's no gravel, and they will tell you all sorts of things to spin this. But we are here. I've been saying this, give it 4 or 5 years, we'll see.
Yeah.
Today, it looks beautiful, it looks everything. The amount of money that was put into it should never have gone there. Two, in a couple of years, we'll see when the road starts sagging.
So, if I heard you well, you talked about...
let me just finish, just 1 minute, let me finish. And the 50-kilometer OIC roads that he said he built, including our Brufut roads, where people are calling me all the time, say, can you come and take pictures? I say, you don't need to take it yourself and put it on social media because I think that will be more credible.
Yeah.
He told us that he put $1 million per kilometer on those roads.
Yeah.
And you go to Brufut yourself. You are a native of Brufut. Go
From
and see.
here, I'm going to Brufut.
No,
I go and
even the contractor.
$1 million.
Let me clarify this.
So
you said you blame us. You said we took data ulo kono, but let me tell you.
I don't say go to ulo kono. No, let me tell you. Even the contractor, Yes.
probably Ford, probably for the contractor of the roads, right? They confirmed to us. We interviewed them because, you know, when residents give us complaints, right, about the drainage system on imam pare wodo kola so geo kadu molla so it was really bad. Let me finish it. No, let me finish. I'm telling you what we covered. I told my team when they went to Brufut and interviewed residents and filmed the place, I said, make sure you have the contractor so he can give his reaction. The contractor on record, they said, yes, it is true in a document course, but they are coming back, they're working. And the following week when we went, they started work on that. But again, last week we went there, some other areas also started. So to be on record, it is true that in a drainage system, when they were doing the roads, they did not do the drainage systems the same time. So that is why it's affecting the residents.
Yeah,
but
it is not actually, it is not affecting the residents. Where you went?
It's not Farokon.
No, where you went? Where you went?
Yeah.
Mr. Manneh is here. We all grew up in Burfoot. No, I'm asking my brother now. Yeah, Karamoda Kodalo. Karamunya Tinola. Nitamira Karamoda Kodalo. Silomin Kara Sutuba. Dolbela Dindia or Olon G Sloti. Bring Bunjang or Lotte J. That was not Adam Barrow's time. That Bunjango, Wale G Sulomuta. And that's why our football pitch at the primary school gets water. And he knows that. That is not the constructor's fault. That is not Adam Barrow's fault. And this needs to be understood. That's why I said you went to Farokon. Because Farokon is silo.
No, I didn't go to Farokon.
Okay, no. Maybe you don't know Burfoot.
No.
You don't know Burfoot.
So
let's come back to Mr. Manneh. You said, you know, white elephant. You call this road white elephant?
Can I just respond to that point?
Yes.
When you have those kind of structures which are blocking the waterway, the state has two options. If the construction was not done with a permit, etc., they have the possibility to demolish it, which is not really the best option you can take. You have a way to have a drainage system around it. You circumvent it.
That's why you have the contractor doing it now. So you cannot just say because of the road that is
when that road was being built, the drainage we're talking about,
that is not the problem.
Go there. When you go back there today, look at the size of the gutters. It is totally inadequate to evacuate water.
The quarter is not finished. Last night at 11 p.m. I was there.
They're expanding it?
It's there. 11 p.m.
Expanding the gutters?
This evening, I'm going back to Brufut.
They're expanding the gutters?
You and I are from Brufut. I frequent Brufut.
Are they expanding the gutters?
Yeah, of course, because they know the problem. The problem is the building that is there. And you know, even when we are young,
so that's what I'm saying.
So Mr. Manneh is going around and looking at all these brilliant projects and just blaming everybody for it. You are calling this, you know, Martin Harding Highway a white elephant.
Yes.
Come on, no,
when you spend $6.8 million,
what is a white elephant project?
A white elephant is where you put far more money than you need to. Come on. You know? And which is becoming a liability. You know, because roads...
You know, you sat here for 2 solid hours and only seen the negative, not this government, but yourself. Because you are a Gambian. If this Gambia is built for all of us. So you must give credit where it's due. And you are not doing that. And you are fond of that. No, you talk about the road work. You have already spoke before you spoke. You talked about your discourse with Ibrahim Silla. And I think you should not sit here and say that.
No, he said it on air. Ibrahim said it on air.
It was on Peter Gomez. I said that.
Yes.
He should be ashamed.
Why?
For what?
Because he was completely embarrassed by what he said there. Because he doesn't know what he was talking about. It was open.
We all watched that. We all listened to that.
He did not know what he was talking about.
I listened to that.
Ibrahim nailed him.
Everybody said
that. Everybody nailed him.
Everybody said
no.
Ibrahim finished. Ibrahim is my brother.
No. You said that. That was very clear.
The comment section. Let me ask the people on the comment section. If you have watched the debate, wait. I'm going to get divorced here. If you have watched the debate between Ibrahim Silla and Dr. Manneh, let me know who won, and I'll go back to the conversation. Now, finally, President Barrow is at the UN. He made a speech today. You know, he talked about there was one thing that stood out for me. The president said. He pledged to support women and to protect the rights of women and girls in this country. That is very fundamental, I guess, talking about the FGM bill and other women's rights issues. You watched the president's speech. What do you think of it?
Brilliant. And after I saw some beautiful comments, who are very genuine Gambians, who are not praise singers of President Barrow, who actually believe that they love this country no matter what, and they will be truthful and honest as far as their opinions are concerned. I've read those opinions, not the likes of Mr. Manneh, who will just blank every good that we have done. No, I'm not about what President Barrow said. Okay? And for him to be celebrated, and I must congratulate him. Today, I think, being awarded the most peaceful president in Africa is being celebrated again, where President Barrow has been celebrated for not having a single prisoner in Mile 2. A single prisoner in Mile 2 because you have spoken against President Barrow.
As we speak, Sheriff Mahmoud is still at the police.
No, how many people have gone to the police? I've been invited to the police, several times. People have been involved in the police. I'm sure in his lifetime he has been invited to the police.
For just writing a mere story.
No, come on.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Today, it is being celebrated. And I congratulate my president for that, the president of the Republic of the Gambia, the secretary general, and the party leader of the mighty National People's Party. That, for his time in office, he has not kept a single person in the central prison of this country.
Because the Gambians fought for that.
That word celebration.
The Gambians fought for that and are still fighting for it.
Come on. You may have fought for it.
It is his job to make sure that the Gambians are safe.
Likewise, so it was everybody's job to do it, and they didn't do it.
Yes, and we condemn them.
Yeah, of course.
So if he
we have got the president who was tolerant. Mr. Manneh, we were all here.
We go to
President Barrow said, "Lunjamale dibo dunda banyo sute." Nganyo sute la body.
But Mr. Manneh, what do you think of?
Yeah, Fate yow yaa Fate. Because yow yaa Fate, man Fate uma te Gambia ni Fate un. Gambia ne xam nañ fu nekkoon demba. Gambia ne xam nañ fu nekkoon demba. Xam nañ président Barrow fu leen jëlee demba.
Xam ñu indi tey. Fan la ñu indi?
Jàmm.
dañ ko sas
jàmm ak nooy bu baax.
dañ ko sas
ñu ngeen nooy bu baax.
ah
Gambien yëpp ñu ngeen nooy bu baax.
yéen
Mr. Manneh, every day I see you, you are looking fabulous. He's very happy, and I think when somebody said the youths are happy.
No, the youths are not happy.
No, listen to this. I want to say something. The retirees are happy. The pensioners are happy.
Oh my God.
The pensioners are happy. Mr. Manneh is very happy.
We are not.
He's very happy.
We are not.
I mean, of course, you.
But Mr. Manneh, I'm not happy.
Your category is very happy too.
Mr. Manneh, but what do you think of the president's speech today? Did you watch it?
No, I haven't had time to watch that.
You'll never have time to watch it because you know it's going to be a brilliant speech.
I will watch it.
Yeah, okay, watch it, and we'll come back here.
He spoke for about 19 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, we'll come back here. We'll come back here.
I will watch it.
Yes.
Okay.
You watch it, and we'll come back here.
This time, he hasn't said on the one and that sort of thing. You know, when he was going on the one and that sort of thing.
Since you did not watch it,
I hope he hasn't said that sort of thing.
Since you don't watch it.
When he speaks, I get worried because every time he speaks, he tends to embarrass us. So I hope he hasn't done that this time.
No, he was cool.
If you good, that's what I want to hear. You see, because as I keep saying,
he was good.
As I keep saying, we want to see our leaders in this country celebrated.
Yeah,
I keep saying that all the time.
I think so far,
I keep saying that all the time.
Mr. Manneh, so far, with all honesty, let me say this.
No, but let me
we want to help him.
Yeah.
We want to help him to do the right things that's going to make them celebrated. I keep saying here, we have no business seeing these people in front of commissions or whatever. We have no, that is demeaning to the country.
Yeah.
So we want to push them to get to a point where we forget that. Barrow is doing what he's paid to do to keep the Gambians safe.
And he's doing it very well.
When he does that, we want to applaud him for doing. He's doing his job.
He's doing it very well. You can give somebody a job and they will not do very well. President Barrow has been given a job and he's doing it very well.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. You are here. You voted him in for 4 times.
No.
So don't tell me President Barrow. President Barrow is doing it. And for him to say, whenever President Barrow speaks, embarrasses him, not Gambian people. I can tell you, Mr. Manneh, allow me to say this. I can tell Mr. Manneh, Fatou, in all the politicians in this country, there is no single politician as fluent as President Barrow. We know other leaders here who cannot put a word out. You can never hear what they say.
You said more fluent than there's nobody who's more fluent than
That's beneath you.
In this Bango.
I wouldn't even respond to that.
Okay,
that's beneath you.
I'll leave it to that.
But
finally,
I wonder what's happening to this guy. This was a guy who was out there fighting.
And I continue to fight.
And all of
I
those
continue
things.
to fight for this country.
I'm
sacrificing
everything. He's becoming a praise singer. What has happened to you?
Why?
No, you're not.
Why?
What has happened to you?
I am fighting.
You are a
Really?
human rights defender.
I
Seedy.
still defend human rights.
You are a
I
human
still
rights
defend human rights.
defender,
But
Seedy.
today
Come on,
he
just
has
because
gone
I
from,
sat here, I
Just-
defend my
no,
program
no,
and my
I'm not-
policies.
No, I'm not saying that.
When something
It's
is wrong
so
in this government,
unfortunate.
I
when
would
I
say
listen
it.
to
I
people
swear
like
to God.
this,
So come in and
I say, what has happened?
my government.
What has
Listen,
happened to
you know
them?
what
But
needs to,
see,
no,
finally-
listen to this. Before, when I sit out, I never had access to a president.
Yeah.
I want to be heard for him to hear me, or somebody close to.
Oh, so that was
to
the
hear.
criticism
No,
to get
let
access.
me help. Let me help you.
No, just
Now,
explain, don't help
I
me.
do not need to
Just
come
explain.
to Kerr Fatou to say to President Barrow what is wrong. I can go to him and tell him what is wrong.
And you have been doing that.
Of course.
Okay, finally, we have Gambians today who President made a beautiful speech. You know, he addressed a lot of issues. In fact, in his capacity as OIC chairman also, he talked about these regional issues and stuff like that. He made pledges to support and safeguard the rights of women and girls. I applaud that. And some other issues, you know, well-written speech, you know. Now, but there were also Gambians who demonstrated against the president. What do you think of that? I mean,
Fatou, for me, we have seen, even in the Gambia here, when people apply for permit, they give it to them.
Yeah.
It's part of our democracy. And President Barrow is nurturing the democracy. You know, is consolidating the democracy. People can demonstrate. I mean, there's nothing wrong, you know, having a peaceful demonstration. It's within all their rights. Yeah, of course. You know, they may disagree with few things and get their placard and come out and do it. If anybody wants to do it at Westfield tomorrow, you apply for a permit and you get it. And I think definitely Mr. Manneh will agree that we have safeguarded the democracy.
If that happens continuously, we will
But that is what is happening continuously.
No.
There is nowhere in this world,
and they
Mr.
tell you
Manneh,
no.
there is nowhere in this world whereby anytime you apply for a permit for a protest, they give it to you. It has to deal with the security and the internal security of a country as well. Come on,
let me
you have
tell
to get
you.
these things.
Yeah, let me get his reaction and then we,
The demonstrations are a constitutional right. The police, the permit we apply for, is not supposed to be an authorization if we go by the proper democratic dispensation. It's for the police to provide that channeling for people to go out and demonstrate peacefully so that they don't get overexcited and do the wrong things and people do not harass them either. So you have the police there to ensure and to channel the demonstration to make sure that it goes on peacefully and everybody's rights are protected. The demonstrators' rights are protected. The people who live in the vicinity, and they are protected as well. That is what these permits are supposed to serve.
And that's what it's doing.
And not for the police to tell you, today you can demonstrate, tomorrow you can demonstrate.
That's what it's
or if
doing.
you're going to demonstrate, you're going to go to Bond Road, etc. That's not what it's supposed to be.
Mr. Manneh, since you have never experienced policing, as I've never experienced banking, your knowledge is very limited in this.
You are wrong. You see, you're just assuming too many things about
I'm
me.
not assuming, I know.
See, you are speculating.
No, I'm not speculating. I know.
You took my brother to court for speculation.
No, I'm
You are
not
just
speculating.
speculating.
Manneh, one alene man key, small magla. You know you're over
Exactly. So
I know.
you are speculating.
No,
I know.
You don't have a career in policing. Come on,
Of course.
You don't know.
He's an economist.
Mr. Manneh,
He's an
Let me
economist.
just give you one thing briefly.
Let me conclude. Let me conclude this. Okay. The reason why police are involved in when it comes to protests is to manage the crowd, crowd control, crowd management, and to guide them and to protect lives and property. And that's what we are doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have seen regimes here where it never happened, and every Gambian had fought to make sure that we have our sanity back. And that's what we have. And President Barrow, being the chief watchman of this country, have safeguarded that sanity. Mr. Manneh, please.
Okay.
How many protests had happened?
So let me go back to to debunk one of your assumptions.
I did not make any assumptions. You did not make a career. You can be a runaway police officer from the recruit. I'm not saying you are not. But I know your home. I know.
I don't run away. I face facts and realities. I will tell you, I was in Abidjan for 12 years. With the ADB, we went through an extremely horrible period in terms of insecurity. And for 4 good years, I worked extremely closely with the Ivorian police, the French police that was based in Abidjan, and the French army that was based in Abidjan to protect the ADB staff and eventually to evacuate them out of Côte d'Ivoire. So I know so much about this policing, much more than you did in your short time as a police constable in London. Okay? You see, you do not have to be in the street as a police constable to know about policing. So you just keep assuming things.
No, I'm not assuming.
You guys don't know.
Yeah, comparing Apple
the
already.
same thing I started with Ibrahim
the policing.
and he was telling me,
no, but
let him finish.
Go ahead.
Tell me you don't understand law. I told Ibrahim, you see, you're assuming too much. I have a master's in law, so you can't just sit there and tell me I don't know law. You all keep assuming things about me.
No, it's not an assumption. You are missing.
Ask me if you want
You
to.
were in Abidjan.
Okay.
You are the French police,
So,
right? You cannot compare the policing in French
when we did
and the
that,
laws of the French and policing in a British colony in
Really?
the Gambia. It's completely different.
Really?
Oh, come on, you know that better.
So finally,
Mr.
Ceesay, finally, what's your final message? Why do you think the Gambian people should continue trust and believe in this government that you will change our lives? The people, our domoro dabete sone alale kurango be gena cheap lale and I access I soto agriculture be better. Why should we
for bulta
believe?
matile chali na ture kuna wa so jarban why hanga
And I'm going to tell you what the Sekundas are telling. The Sekundas having meeting on the comment section about you. They said we need to get hold of our brother. Juga Ceesay is leading that meeting. They said they need to call you for a meeting. I was going to tell you about the Sekundas.
Yes.
They are calling you for a meeting on this comment section here.
Juka did a very good thing about the electricity funding
I
in
saw
this country.
she's getting a lot of numbers out
When
there.
the people call me, I went to I said,
how do you say, why do we have to
Yeah.
trust this
She's
government?
right.
My government.
She was right.
Those
And this is
numbers
what I'm talking about.
You're talking about 400 million.
I said.
The infrastructure that's been done, you are questioning that? The money has been spent where
On the
it's supposed to be.
infrastructure.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course, you have seen.
Okay.
You're talking
You
about why
cannot spin
government
this.
Why should
You
we
cannot
trust?
spin
We are
this.
not spinning. This is real.
Oh, yeah.
If you want,
Yeah.
you and I, we can jump in your car or my car, and I take you to the far end of this country, and you see the work.
I don't need you to go there.
No, but you've not been there for you. You want.
Okay,
you
you
go
can
once and you
take
don't go there.
our team and we'll go see.
If you want tomorrow, we go.
Okay.
First ferry, we cross. I'm going. I am going.
Tomorrow was the other.
All right, give me any time, Fatou.
Okay.
Give me any time you want. We'll foot the bill and we'll take you around for you to see it for yourself. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready for that.
We'll work on
we are on
camera for that.
Camera for that, on
Okay.
a public broadcast, and I'm saying this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Why
just
do
want to
we-
give a big shout out to Juka because she did a
Yeah, she's doing
wonderful
an
job.
amazing
Koko sumarakala, muloko.
Mu ngi oote meeting si comment section bi.
She's online. Yeah.
She said, where are our Ceesay Kunda?
Yeah.
Please come. Let's rescue our brother.
Yeah.
I see
Koko Sumarakala.
Juka, Usman, and everybody.
She says,
We are here.
Well,
They are
how
saying we are here. We are here. But yes, final message. What is
Final
your
message,
message?
the Gambian people, they continue to have trust in President Barrow. And in fact, that have been demonstrated oftentimes. Lately, he was just going to see industrialization sites. Everybody is running after him. And we have seen, he has given us peace. He is the most tolerant president you can find in the sub-region, in fact, in the whole of Africa. We have seen the infrastructure is going on. You know, people are happier. You know, life is, expectancy is in the increase. We have seen the census preliminary report. We have seen a lot of good things are happening.
You have to come back here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's
And
so many things that we have to discuss.
We can digest. Of
The
course, of
census.
course.
Census, the
Yes.
Senegal relationship, Basalt and others.
No,
Time
come
has-
on, Fatu. You know,
time has gone.
I'm a businessman.
No, time, Tata.
I'm a business. Even before Senegal, you know, talk about this person, I had so much interest to go into it. You know, maybe I sit here, Mr. Manneh, oh, you're a politician. No, we have our investment in this
No, I
country.
don't
We
assume.
want to see the peace of this country.
I don't
We
assume.
want to see this country continue to be peaceful because we have our life savings in this country. We are not the retirees who sit at home and spend their money on what they want. No, we are creating jobs in this country.
Yeah.
Retirees also did something before they got retired. They worked.
You want us to come back?
No,
And I'll dig
you
into-
should
I'll
come
dig
back.
into
You
it.
guys should come
I'll
back.
dig into
But
it.
you didn't tell me why the Gambian people
I
should
know.
I
trust.
said it all. I said it
Okay,
all.
okay.
You know, I mean, that's, you know, everything that, you know, you were asking for is here for you.
It's here.
It's here for you.
Everything is here for you, Mr. Manneh. Your final
Everything is
message.
here for you.
He
Grab
said
it and go.
everything
It's
is
here
here.
for you.
The government has provided everything for us. Let's grab it and go.
We don't
Final
have.
message.
I don't even have to comment on that because
Yeah.
the Gambian people are
Let's
living
leave it
that
to the
reality.
people. Yes.
The Gambian people are living that reality. The suffering we are going through in this country, and he sits here and he has the gall to tell us that everything is going well in this country.
Yeah.
That's disgraceful. And I'm sorry to use that word. I don't want to use that, and I don't want to offend you.
Yeah.
No, you can't offend me because you are in denial. When I say everything is going well, I don't mean it's a perfect system.
Yeah.
You know, it's a building process.
I withdraw that word.
Yeah, it's a building process.
Because it's strong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
No.
But, you know, what is happening in this country is really tough for people living in this country, and you know it. And you see, the only way to fix this country,
it's tough for everybody.
The only
but
way
we are
to
going
fix this
every day
country
out to
is
make our living
to realize
peacefully
the difficulties that
and
people are
earn our
living
money.
through.
And that's what is happening.
I'll let you finish.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
The only way to get this country better is if we realize the difficulty the people are going through and we accept it and we fight to change it. This is why we are out there campaigning and fighting and making sure that we hold this government accountable. You see, because I can do like most of my colleagues who retire and just sit there and enjoy your retirement.
You just said most of the retirees just sit there. You see, so you have just agreed with me.
But wait,
Mr. Manneh have just agreed with me.
They have spent so much time out there working. When they come back home, they are exhausted. And they just want to have some peace and quiet.
Yeah.
I don't blame any of them for sitting back and taking some time to rest. And we all would have wanted to do that. I happen to choose to do the opposite. And we can use our time to do other things. But we have to fight these fires because we cannot sit here and see all the problems we're having in electricity, all the problems we're having in health, all the problems we're having with NAWEC and water and all the stuff, all the problems we're having in the education system, all the problems we're having in this state selling of all our assets. We cannot sit back and just look at that and not talk. When we see our youth dying from trying to make a living outside and going by the back way, when we see our youth being destroyed by drugs in this country, we cannot sit back and be quiet. When we have our generations being lost because of the poor education system, if you want to destroy a country, the best way to do it, destroy the education system. And you won't have any more good teachers, good nurses, good engineers. You won't have anything good. You destroy the education system of a country, you don't need to destroy anything else.
And that's all been done in 7 years.
So
all that you are saying has been done in 7 years.
Are being destroyed in this country.
All that he's saying has been done in 7 years, right?
These people, their kids go to where? The private schools.
No, look at him.
I'm not talking of you in person. I'm talking of your regime. Their kids are all in these private schools. They don't know what's happening in the public schools.
That's false.
They don't know what is happening in the public hospitals. You see, this is what we need to talk about.
When did you last went to a public hospital, Mr.
Yesterday.
So you telling me I don't go to a public hospital?
No, I didn't say that. You asked me.
And you said we don't know what is happening at the public hospital. I go to a public hospital.
I said I'm not talking to you in person. I'm saying of your regime.
No, they go to public hospitals.
So you see, my
colleagues go to public. All politicians go to public.
They go to
public hospitals.
They go to private hospitals or they travel abroad. You guys gave yourself $60 million this year, $40 million last year. That's to get us $100 million in 2 years.
I have wrapped up. I think it will be unfair.
He's also wrapping up.
No, but he's
wrapping. You wrapped up. You said everything. Mr. Manneh, 1 more minute to wrap up. Let him finish.
No, I think we need to come back here. Me and my brother need to come back.
You guys will come back.
Okay.
So with all of those things going wrong, we cannot keep quiet. We have to talk. And we have to challenge this government and hold it to account. And no amount of intimidation will change that. You see, we need to make sure that Barrow is taking credit for what the Gambian people fought for. He's saying, I gave you democracy, I gave you this. Yes, we have democracy in the country growing. Yes, we have freedom growing. But because we fought for it and we continue to fight for it. If we let him, he would have, Jabati would have been sitting in jail right now. Your station and Pamudu station and a few others would have been shut down by now. But
That's
because
false.
we complain, we fight, we do these things. And that is, we are telling him do this, not because we hate you, but we want you to have a legacy in this country. We want you to make sure that by the time you leave,
a legacy for himself.
By the time you leave, we say, well, you know, he found difficulty, but he did this, he did that. That's what we want for our leaders, for God's sake.
That's what
when
he's
we
doing.
criticize, it's not because we hate these people, it's because we love the Gambia more. And we want to make sure
when
that
you say when you criticize.
yes,
I love when you say when you genuine criticisms.
And that's what
genuine criticism. And he's not doing that.
Yeah.
He's not doing
Thank
that.
you so much, so
When
much.
you criticize genuinely.
Gentlemen,
But
thank
you
you
criticize
so
for
much.
sake of criticism.
For the
You
football,
cannot
but
spin
I
this.
love
Yes,
this
yes,
show, and I'm
yes,
so happy
yes.
that.
After this, we can have tea together.
And
as
you
brothers.
guys should
But when
come
we
back.
sit here,
My relationship with him
Yeah,
is not like outside. He's
yeah,
a cousin.
I know.
So, but
Yeah,
I mean, we can
but when
come
we
here.
talk- when we
And this is the beauty
when we
of
talk about the
democracy.
Gambia,
Yes, yes.
And this is the
we
beauty
put that
of
aside.
You put that aside
And we talk
and
about
have
the
a
Gambia.
heated
Yeah.
debate.
When we leave, we
Yeah.
can go have coffee
Yeah,
together.
Yeah.
absolutely.
But when we talk about the Gambia,
Everybody, yeah.
I'm uncompromising.
Yesterday,
Yeah.
I was at his house in Brufut.
This is
So
the beauty.
that's-
This is the beauty of democracy. We can have this conversation and be honest to each
And
other.
have a chief
And
watchman who respect what we do. That's President Barrow.
And that is why President Barrow should withdraw that legal threat to the proprietor of
He's entitled
Yes.
to do that.
Voice
President Barrow is
newspaper. I'm
entitled to
telling-
do
let
that. He's
me
been
say
defamed.
since you say you
He's
can
been
I'm
defamed.
closing.
He's
Since you say you
defamed.
can go see
He
him.
was
Okay,
not
he's closing.
defamed.
Fatu,
He was
he
not
says you can
defamed.
go see him. Please, when you see him, tell him to withdraw that. It's
Let-
not good for his
I'm
image.
sending a
it's not
message,
good
but
for
I'm
the image of the
sending you
country.
too. Please, and
It's
you
not good
promise
for
to
his
get me
image,
President Barrow
it's not
on
good
my
for the image of the
platform.
No,
Up
you'll
to
come.
now.
No, you will go. You'll go there.
I want to come.
Yeah.
I am ready.
Yes, yes.
I'm ready.
Absolutely.
Me and President Barrow.
Yes.
That's gonna be nice.
Absolutely. We'll have
Somebody
tea.
has got to give him good advice. Let that be you.
Yeah.
Go see
Everybody
him and
else,
tell him.
everybody else
And
give
tell
him good
him-
advice.
And
Let me
I
tell
said
you
withdraw
that.
this.
Everybody else give him good advice. Let me tell
Go
you
and tell him
that.
to withdraw that,
Everybody-
please.
Everybody else give him good advice. All his advisors give him good
My
advice.
friend
Well, we
Luciano
wouldn't
also.
have people
Everybody,
sitting in-
everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, of course.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you very much,
Thank you,
gentlemen.
Super.
And I want to say, President Barrow, please withdraw that legal threat against Voice newspaper, because as Seedy quoted, you've been quoted for being one of the most tolerant presidents we have. That's what people say. That's what your militants say. I might have a different opinion, but majority of people say that. And if that tolerance is there, I believe as the leader of this country, we are going to hold you accountable. We are going to criticize. We are going to sometimes unintentionally defame you. But that doesn't mean we mean harm. What that means, we want well for you, and we want you to do better for us, because you are the president for all of us.
And he's paid to do that.
And being our president comes with a lot of responsibilities, and these things will happen. But if you want to continue taking us to court, you'll end up taking all of us to court. If you take me to court,
President
Seedy
Barrow
will
doesn't take-
pay for my legal fees, because he's my uncle.
Okay.
That's how interrelated we are.
Yes,
Gambia
absolutely.
Doyatale.
Gambia Doyatale.
So I think
but my,
President-
my
and the
brother called me.
IGP and the IGP.
My brother called me privilege. Look at his plus, stainless steel mug.
No, you are privileged. You are wearing Jesna.
Let the camera.
You are wearing Jesna.
I would want
Whenever he
Gambians
comes
to
to
be
my
able to get
show,
that too.
whenever he comes to my show, he wears his Jesna and he
Yeah.
tells me, "Get on the chair, but the man so like a suma chair." He is
No,
privileged.
but yesterday
Yeah,
when I met you, I said to you,
And then-
I am going to cook something very,
You
very
said
nice.
chef. You said, "I'm going to eat
But
my
I decided
chef."
not to cook chef.
Uh-huh, but
I
you
have,
told-
I have a pempeng, with crab, with
No,
everything
but
else.
on a serious-
From Brufut
You
Sea. From
you
Brufut
see,
Sea.
with this
Mr.
crab
Manneh,
and
Mr.
maybe,
Manneh.
and maybe
Bobo
shrimps,
Ganayomba, Bobo
and maybe
Ganayomba.
shrimps and everything.
I got it from
All
the
of that.
seaside
So you can
yesterday.
afford that.
You can afford
Come
it.
on, I went to Brufut Beach last night and I got it for free.
Some people
You're
can
not
afford
free.
it.
Of
I
course.
don't get the privilege of getting it.
Well,
for
you're not
free.
from Brufut, but Sanjay Jai, you're Sanjay Jai, Mumela Jen.
Bahna, thank you very much, Uncle Seedy. Thank you, Mr. Manneh. And this was an interesting show. And for you guys watching, I see all these secondary comments. You go through them after, because they're calling you for a side meeting. You go corner
Unfortunately,
meeting.
Padre, I'm not on social media.
I know, right? You are
I'm
not.
never on social media.
You are not. Yeah, all these years I've known you. You're not on social media. Wow.
I'm enough, my face is enough for social media.
Interesting. But thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Manneh, and to the team,
Thank
and
you.
all of you watching. Good night to
Thank
you
you so
all,
much.
and I will
I
see
look
you
forward to
next
having
week.
my brother back.
And another time, yes.
Another time,
Inshallah,
yeah.
next month I'll bring. This
Okay.
is good. And good night to you all.
Thank
See
you.
you again.
Okay,
Bye bye.
right.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Fatu.
Thank you so much.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3, 1997 and began operations on October 1, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.